Radio.
From Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with me, Pakwesi Obare.
Good morning. Thank God it's Friday. It's a beautiful brand new day, and you are welcome to Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, and this is Ghana Talks Radio. This is the newspaper review. Here we bring you all the headlines and stories that are making waves in the news, from politics to business, from sports to entertainment, and everything in between. As usual, I am your host, Ruth Esnafiabedu, and joining me in today's newspaper headlines is Miss Regina Bless and Miss Debbie Adoso. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
Great.
How are you feeling about the weekend?
It's going to be exciting.
I'm so glad to hear that. So we have a bunch of newspaper headlines we need to review to our audience. So moving on to our first newspaper headline, we have government approves 10% salary increase for public sector workers. The government of Ghana has officially approved a 10% salary increase for public sector workers under the single spine salary structure for 2025 fiscal year. Meanwhile, the National Tripartite Committee has also agreed to a 10% adjustment for the daily minimum wage. According to the agreement signed on February 20th, 2025, between the government, represented by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Ministry of Labour, Jobs and Employment, and the Ministry of Finance and Organised Labour, the increment will be effective from January 1st, 2025 and will run until December 2025. My dear panelists, how do you feel about government increasing salary for the public sector workers?
Regina.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much. So she starts with, I would read the press release. So agreement on base pay for 2025. The government of Ghana, represented by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Ministry of Labour, Jobs and Employment, and Ministry of Finance of the one part, and organized labor comparing workers, unions and institutions within the public service of Ghana of the other part. Whereas the parties negotiating as the Public Services Joint Standing Negotiating Committee have concluded negotiating for the 2025 single spine salary structure base pay. It is agreed as follows. Terms of agreement that the base pay on the single spine salary structure has been increased by 10% across board from January 2025 to December 2025. In witness were the parties having set their names and hands on this 20th day of February 2025. So, in my opinion, I would say this is a well-deserved increase for government workers, because if working conditions are not in favor of workers, how then do they wholeheartedly work? Sometimes they say that passion. Someone is hungry and you're talking about passion. What will the passion do to that person? Even though that passion is also a part of it to motivate the person, but there are also certain incentives that boost the morale of workers to work wholeheartedly. And also this increase will help government employees cope with the high cost of living, because now if let's say you earn 1,000 cedis, 500 cedis, 800 cedis, that kind of money, every first, second, third, fourth of the month, then the money will be finished. So I think this is a very huge initiative or a major step the government has taken to make sure that their workers are comfortable. That is all I have to say.
Where this whole issue started having to do with public sector workers, I think it started since even last year, that they've been demonstrating for increments in pay. During those times, I felt they were making noise, but then it got to a point I realized that no, because we find ourselves in a country where your salary is stagnant, but day in, day out, there are increments in the prices of goods. You go out to buy a bag of rice at a price of 100 cedis, and then the next day you go again, and then the price is almost 200 cedis, and then you board chocho and you pay for your transport to where you work, say maybe 10 cedis, in and out will be 20 cedis, and then the next week you go as usual, and then they tell you that there'll be increments because prices of fuel has also been increased. And so they have to also, when it's happening like that, you the public sector worker, that your salary is very stagnant, it affects you a lot, because you have to pay you pay house bills, you pay other utility dues, and then combining it with like the prices of goods and stuffs, and then with your salary being stagnant, it makes it so difficult for you. But in a case where your salary is increased just as the way the prices of goods are increasing, it makes you adjust yourself in a good position. But in a case where today they've increased in that, tomorrow they've increased in this, and then you the person like involved, you are supposed to, you the person who consume all those stuffs, that you don't even see increment in what you receive day in, day out, you feel the heat more. And I think even I read a part where they said last year they increased it to 23%. That was under the previous government. Akufo-Addo, they increased it to 23%, and they were still calling out. I feel something like this, it should be done without even the public sector workers coming out to say what they have in mind or put before the government what they think, because just as the way we increase staffs and things, we should also bear in mind that the public sector workers are also going to be affected negatively if the economic status of this country is not stable. That's what I said. Maybe increasing that and this and that, and then at the end of the day, you, the public sector worker, you are still stagnant at where you are. Maybe you receive 2,000 every month, and then that 2,000 every month is even your monthly what's the name, your rent. That's your rent. That's what you use for your rent. Like you pay for it. You get what I'm trying to say? And then like there's no increment in what you receive every month, but then there'll be increment with the things you use the money to buy. When it happens like that, you don't even feel that you are working. You feel as if it's hand to mouth something you are doing. So it's a good one.
Okay, so let me ask this, yeah. So according to the Minister of Labour, which is Mr. Rashid, I find it difficult to mention his saying he has come out to say that the daily minimum wage has now risen to 19 points, that is 19 cedis, 97 Ghana pesos, and there has been some comments that even with that is still small. It's still not enough. What do you think the government can do better?
I thought, not really I thought, but I saw that Mahama came out to say that once the economy is stable, they would once again make sure that their salary are being increased. And I feel that is a fair statement from him, because we all can testify to the fact that the economy currently is not in favor, or it's not in support of all Ghanaians. We all are facing the hardship ourselves. So once they've even had the thoughts, or they've had the employers well-being at heart, I feel that should be appreciated. And when the economy is stabilized, definitely, as he promised, they would get it.
Okay.
It's not enough, but at least it's okay. It's better than none. It's better than you coming out to, say, put out your grievances and then they don't even mind you. So for me, I feel like, yes, it's little, but at least, as I said, like the economy is in a state where we all don't see it up, but then we are trying. And President Mahama said that like he himself is amazed with the kind of economy that has been handed to him, and then he feel like it's a criminal sin. So you could see that they are actually trying their best. So with this, at least he has taken a step which shows that if the economy should be stable, he will do more than that. Yes, and he is someone who listens. Because even if he doesn't have the public sector workers at heart, I'm not sure he will even mind them. Not even think of even giving them that small amount that people feel like it's not good enough. But at least, as I said, it's better than none. So it's okay, we will manage.
Okay. So you think, looking at the little increments that has been done, the little reason that has been done to the daily minimum wage is going to improve the cost of living for these public workers?
Yeah, definitely.
Even with a 10%?
It would help, at least. Okay.
So let's move on to our next newspaper headline. No running away. Akufo-Addo urges ex-appointees to face accountability. The NPP Director of Communications has revealed that ex-President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has directed his former appointees to remain available for any accountability processes following the conclusion of his administration. Richard Ahiagba stressed the NPP's commitment to transparency and accountability. These are his words. We, the NPP, have no record of running away. We will be here. This is what he said in his statement during the press with news. So Mr. Ahiagba's comments come amid calls for accountability from various quarters of the public as the country transitions into a new political administration. So this is the ex-president urging all his ex-appointees to face accountability. He's telling them not to run away, they should still be in the country, and then conclude any accountability process that has to do with his administration. What's your take on that? Let's get it.
That was a good one, but even before that, yesterday when I saw the news, like I was amazed, so I decided to check other sides to be sure, to clear my doubts, and then it really came out true. You see, devoid of politics, let's say this: every leader, I think the first thing that should be your focus is how to be accountable to your people, because they trusted you. That's why that kind of power or that kind of position has been entrusted in your hands. So whatsoever you are doing, I mean, what steps you are putting in place, you have to have in mind that at the end of the day, you have to be accountable to the people, because what we sitting here, we the citizens, what we are looking up to is how you come out and be accountable and transparent to us and be truthful to us as well as a country. Because imagine you are like a power has been entrusted in your hands, a position has been given to you, and then before you come into power, this is the amount of money that has been left for your government. When you go in for, I mean, your IMF loans and stuffs, whether the money has been used for the particular job or the reason why you went for the money, whether it has been used for that purpose, we don't know. So you have to be accountable. I feel like immediately you come into power, whatever you do, you have to come and notify us. And you see, former President Akufo-Addo, you remember those times he used to give us like a lot of fellow Ghanaians, but then what entails in that fellow Ghanaians was not what we wanted to hear at that time. It was, when it comes out, it will either be because of Russia and Ukraine war, we have to increase the tax of this so that we can actually do that, so that we can actually do this. And even his last state of address, he didn't even mention anything concerning, I mean, when he was in power, like what they did, the money they took, the funds allocated to other sectors, what it has been used for the outcome of it, and how it's going to benefit the country. Even when they asked a question about the IMF, about the National Cathedral, he laughed.
Okay.
He laughed over it. He didn't say, for me, he didn't say anything that's. He didn't say anything concerning that. So sitting down, I was like, so what has he done? We know, sometimes we know what you are doing, but we still want you to come out and tell us that this is how far we've gone and this is the amount we've left behind. Even when they told us that they've done this and that, the current government came and they were complaining that what they said they did, they didn't do it. So when I said I said it was a good one, and I was amazed at the same time, because you have to be accountable. Don't just feel like, oh, they've appointed me, I'm happy, I'm in power, so I'm happy. No, have it at the back of your mind that what I'm doing today, definitely I'll be out of power one day. Even if they will retain me for 20 years, definitely a day will come or a year will come where I'll be rooted out of power. And then when I'm rooted out of power, I have to account to my people what I did. I mean, especially when it has to do with the money. I mean, the money that has been allocated to sectors, what it has been used for. Because we've noticed, we've seen things, or we've seen incidents where funds have been allocated to a certain sector. And then at the end of the day, they come to tell us that even the money, they've not even received it for that particular purpose, why the money was allocated to them. And so I feel like, as for accountability, you don't even need anyone to come and lecture you on that. As a leader, you should have it, that definitely you will account for whatever you are doing. Even if you refuse not to mind that, you have to be accountable. With that, it makes us, we the citizens, we kind of have a trust in your government. That's okay, fine, even though things are not going well, this is it, this is what we've done. Yes, and then you should accept the fact that, I mean, we tried our best, but what we thought we would do, that's not what we've done. And then if you say all this and you're being sincere enough to the people, that's me, we will not sit anywhere and say that like you haven't done anything enough. So accountability, there's number one, is key. You should have it. You should know that definitely you account. So you should be careful with your steps and what you put in place, because definitely you account for it. But it has become normalized in Africa, not only in Ghana, normalized, that they've already have it in mind that they will not be accountable, even if you repeat whatever you have to say, but it's a necessity. So it's a good one that they are not supposed to flee. They should sit, just as Muhammad sat in the country when he was out of his first term in office. Yes. So
Ms. Regina, do you think that was a good one from the president, urging his ex-appointees to stay and face all the accountability processes to conclude his administration?
Please, point of correction, ex-president.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, so first of all, I'll start with this comparison. A boss and a leader. A boss is one who how do I say it, who orders people around, but a leader is someone who takes part of what the workers he takes part of their working routine and all that to make sure everything is in place. But for a boss, you just bring the results and that is it. So away from that to our ex-president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Nipa de oye adia asayi. I would praise him, I would applaud him for what he has done, because most presidents wouldn't do that. And looking at what he went through in the hands of Ghanaians, and he coming out to say this, he has really done well, because he was being accused. I don't know, but he was being accused. I do not have any evidence of any corruption related to his name, so I can only use accused and being blamed. And I would, moving away from that, coming to Afenyomakin, ex-president said all appointees shouldn't run, they should sit and make sure they are accountable for their actions. Yesterday, Afenyomakin was like he would sue the oral team if his name or properties comes up. If truly your properties are genuine, if truly your properties were gained in the right way, why then are you afraid say would or would be investigated? That alone is a question mark to himself and to his properties. Where a property that he was having, he himself said he was having from 2006, when it was being investigated, it was seen as a state property. So if your name comes out, just come out, prove the necessary document you are supposed to present to make sure that the property you are having in your possession is truly your property. I don't know why they are going back and forth. He himself especially is going back and forth with this issue. If you are truly innocent, nothing should bother you. You should just come out and clear your name. And lastly, to the president, to the ex-president, what he did was very good. And also to his appointees, if you are innocent, if you have no debt attached to your name, I don't see the need why you should be shaking. I don't see the need why some of them should be angry over investigations.
So moving on to our next news headline, we have government has secured enough fuel for reliable power supply. The government has secured sufficient fuel to guarantee a stable power supply despite recent outage. Meanwhile, WAPO is set to complete gas pipeline maintenance by March 2nd, reinforcing Ghana's energy stability. Speaking at a press briefing on Thursday, the Minister of State for Government Communications, Felix Kwachi Ofosu, reaffirmed the government's commitment to preventing power disruptions, citing proactive measures taken to maintain a steady energy supply. While acknowledging the recent outage, he emphasized that the Energy Minister, John Jinapor, is fully aware of the situation and will engage the public in the coming days to provide updates and address concerns. So this is from This is from Ghana. This is from government, sorry. And then he's saying that he has secured enough fuel for reliable power supply. Recently, there have been some power outage both in Kumasi, and people already bashing the president, forgetting there was. What's your take on that?
Okay, so I wouldn't say there's no country here which doesn't face power issues. Almost sometimes can you share before movie crana I thought that in the movie scene do light. So when it's happening in Ghana here, it shouldn't be a surprise because it's normal. Every country once in a while will face one challenge to the other. I know past that was John Dramani Mahama in his past administration. He was really criticized due to Dumso, and also Nana Addo he was also criticized due to Dumso, and now Mahama in power again, he's also being criticized again due to Dumso. So with the steps they've taken to make sure that our power supply or our energy sector is steady, I feel that is a great move. And also with all the statements which came out, one which really pleases my heart is to make sure that updates and address concerns are always brought out. This is this public's energy sector on its own have the people of Ghana at heart. Because some governments or some sector would be like, there's no need to come out to address Ghanaians concerning this particular issue. Some others too will come out and tell you that you yourself should provide a problem to that solution if you think you know it all. And we all know who I'm talking about. So with what is going on, I would entrust all Ghanaians to take heart. Definitely do something dear. It would come. No, even if the power supply or the energy sector is steady, no matter what, there will be 1 or 2 times where our power will go off. So it's just a matter of time and patience.
I saw a video when the power outages occurred in Kumasi. There was interviewing people, and then a guy was like, "Oh, the new government just came in power not quite long," and then he wouldn't blame the new government so early because even in the previous government, even during the previous government term in office, they still experienced doomsday. And then he wouldn't say that it's because people want to tarnish the image of the government, but with him, even though the doomsday is coming, but it's not that consistent that he will make that a solid ground to say that the government isn't doing his best and that his things are going very bad. So power outages is something that is bound to happen, and then we all know the instances we found ourselves as it stands now. During previous, when Mahama came to his first term in office, we experienced doomsday. Even without one, they have to give us timetable, like time by time, which place we experience the doomsday for this week, and then maybe another time. And then during former president, His Excellency now they don't go for all those time. We also experienced doomsday, and then this time too we are experiencing doomsday. But with this current government, first they cleared our doubt that what was supposed to be done in the energy sector by the previous government, as they promised, was not done. And so it is the main reason why we are seeing what we are seeing. But then they are doing their best, and I feel like yes, it's okay, because with what they said right now, that they are actually putting measures in place, and then to ensure that we don't experience too much power outages. They will put measures in place, but I'm sure definitely there will still be power outages. But I feel like they will put measures in place, but it's not like they are curbing it totally.
But they are going to
yes, in a way that like they will manage it, and we as well will feel comfortable. It won't be like those times where the power can go off like from morning to evening, like till the next day, and then people will sell things like fishes and stuff goes bad, and then people run articles.
Yeah. So coming to that, don't you think it's going to be a toll on businesses? Because looking at his promises, he said there's going to be 24-hour economy. And now looking at the situation we are facing now, because already the Ablakwa has said that the passport office will be running for
24/7, and you see, all those has to do with, you see, the energy sector, I would say it's key in the country.
Okay.
Because even at the passport office, it's not like what's the name, the computer and stuff that they use in the processing and stuff, and it still needs electricity, because if your phone is off or if your laptop is off, how then do you go about with the processing of the passport and stuffs?
But don't you think that would be another form of, as in, debt
to the country?
Yes.
How?
Because here lies the case. Because of the 24-hour economy, they have to put in extra
yes, you have to, because that's what you've promised. You see, that's why you shouldn't bite what you cannot chew. I'm not saying that President Mahama cannot do what he said he would do, but I'm just citing an example. It is what they said they would do, and so I'm sure that they are going to do anything as much as possible to make sure that they produce or they say what they've promised to do. Even if they cannot do it to like the fullest point, say 100%, they'll make sure they do it to a level where you will feel at ease, and they also feel at ease, and then you'll be like, well, even though we've not gotten to that point, but everything shows that like with time we'll get there. That's what he said. And I'm sure that since he has promised, and then he has also learned from previous government, so I'm sure that he is going to do anything possible. Even if it's going to cause them debt, they will still have a way. They still have means and ways that they will make sure that it won't cause so much debt to the country.
Okay.
He has promised, so he will deliver.
Okay, so on to our last newspaper headline or newspaper review here. Mahama to deliver first State of Nation address in a few days. President Mahama is expected to address Parliament in his much anticipated State of the Nation address in a few days following the formation of his cabinet on Thursday, February 20th. The address, in fulfillment of Article 67 of the 1992 Constitution, will provide a candid assessment of Ghana's economic realities and outline the current administration's strategy for national development. These are the words of Felix Ofosu-Boakye. In his words, he says, in a few days' time, President Mahama will address Parliament and deliver a message on the State of the Nation's address. The Minister of the State in charge of Government Communications said after the cabinet meeting. So this was said after he had a cabinet meeting with his cabinet. He already has a 19 cabinets?
Yeah, 19.
Yes, 19 cabinet members. So what are your expectations for his State of Nation address? Ms. Debbie?
My expectation has to do with a whole lot, because he just came into power, and then it's the expectance of every president that at the beginning of a session in Parliament, and even before you leave Parliament, there have to be a message that needs to be conveyed to the people of how, even though we know how you want to put the country in a run, but then we still have to hear more about it. You are in office for 30 days. Yes, this is how far it's going. We are on progress, and then we promise that things will still come out better. So we are expecting a lot, because when we went out, a lot of people were like, he just came into office, so we cannot really say anything about that. But even though he's in office for 30 days, almost a month and a week, he still needs to, come out to say something so that we know he have been in power for this particular month or period, and then the country is in progress, and this is what you should be expecting from us, and then this is what we want to do as well. So our expectations from him is we are not only expecting, but we also hope that as he comes out to give his state of address, after that we will see progress of what he's saying. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yes. So I expect. Okay, so let me take me for instance. Let me take myself for instance. My expectance from him is very huge, very very huge. I mean, I'm expecting him to also touch on certain sectors in the country, and then talk more about them and how far or how sure he is that he's going to improve on that sectors. Yeah. So it's a whole lot. My expectations for President Muhammad is very huge. Very huge.
Okay.
Yes.
Miss Regina, what are you expecting from
So the little I can say, this is like another manifesto, but this time around a manifesto with actions, and not just a manifesto just reading it. As Miss Debbie said, he reading the State of the Nation address is the most important thing, is for him to touch on the most pressing issues and most pressing concerns of Ghanaians. There are a lot of things I would like to mention, but because of time, and also the most important thing I feel he should touch on is the unemployment, youth unemployment, and also the Boko issue. This post-election thing, he should really touch on it, and also other sectors which he feels would bring improvement to the country as a whole.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that submission. That will be all for our newspaper headline. Stay with us. Up next, we have Debbie's Girl.
Good morning and welcome to Debbie's Grill once again, where issues of state concerns are delved into with all forms of credibility, devoid of politics, fear, or favor. You know, sometimes it amazes me when people forget things so easily. It amazes me when people stand a firm ground of not to be corrected. And I'm so surprised and very much surprised when people who feel they are actually doing the right thing, and then they're actually doing the right thing and needs not to be directed on how to go about how they do their things, especially when it has to do with people that power is being entrusted into their hands. And I feel like when the power is being trusted into their hands, they've lost their voice. They've lost that authority. I mean, they've lost that authority to find or realize that something is going on or wrong. Something is going wrong with what they are doing. But immediately they are out of power, they've regained their confidence, their voice. I mean, to point at things that they feel like is very bad. Yesterday, the former vice president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, actually pointed out some mistakes or some issues, pressing issues he feels like current president should address in his term of office. One has to do with the current president revoking all appointments that has been made. I mean, sacking people when it was few days for him to come into power, people employed. And according to the former vice president, it was the same current president, John Dramani Mahama, who vows to create more jobs. and so he doesn't understand why the current president will revoke appointments, sack people that his government has appointed before leaving office. And then he also touched on how Ghana is a democratic country, but it looks as if we are oppressing people who want to express themselves. We are not letting the freedom of speech, or the current government, John Dramani Mahamad's administration, is not allowing the free flow of freedom of speech. Maybe he has forgotten. I think on November 3rd, 2024, the former vice president for that matter, came out to let us know that his government has created 2.6 million jobs in the government sector and then 1.4 million in the private sector. But you will bear with me that even with that 2.6 million jobs, citizens were still demonstrating that they need work to do. Graduates of that matter were demonstrating, and you could see that the demonstration during the previous government was very intense and very frequent. Because this week there will be demonstration, the next week there will be another demonstration, and the third week there will be another demonstration. But it looks as if the pleas and the grievances of these innocent citizens has fallen on deaf ears. Oh, maybe he's trying to say that the Agenda 111 initiative the Broad House has created a job. Or maybe he's trying to say that the one factory, one district, I want to understand, maybe it's the one factory, one district initiative is talking about. But let me ask you, with that one factory, one district, one factory, have you gotten one constituency, 1 million, one village, one dam? Up till now, I'm still waiting for my dam to be, built, because I haven't seen it. You see, this is the main reason why I was saying that when power is entrusted into the hands of a particular person, you feel like you are doing the right thing. You feel like everything is going on well. And so if we are feeling the heat and we want to express our grievances, they feel as if we are tarnishing the image of the government. But you'll bear with me that even with the previous administration, you could not even have a free flow. You see, so one thing he said that I thought about the whole night was he raised concerns over what he described as a deteriorating security situation in the country, pointing to attacks on journalists, military raids on former government official homes, and violent mob action against state institutions. Mahama is in government not quite long. Yes, it's true. And then former vice president and then the former president, I'll still call him His Excellency because I'm used to it. His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo be the Bawumia government. We can all testify to the fact that when this government was in power, even journalists were afraid to say the truth. They were afraid to call a spade and not a big spoon, because immediately you tried, either they suspend you or you be sacked. And I have so many I've seen so many instances that I can use as an example, that you don't even have the freedom again to say that, no, Mr. President, what you are doing isn't the right thing. Can we do it this way? They said no. Even with that one, even if it's like they will listen to you. You see, when you're complaining about your grievances and you are being listened to, you feel like the kind of pain or the kind of pain you're pouring out there, it feels at ease. But in an incident where you complain and it feels like no one is listening to you, you feel like it's like they don't even care about me. And the previous government has been a government where we complained and no one listened to us. Was it not under the same government Was it not under the same government that Hussein Swale, I stand to be corrected, was murdered? And up till now, we don't even know who killed Ahmed Hussein Swale. And it was during that same government that a minister from that government came out to let people know who Ahmed Hussein Swale was. Because Ahmed Hussein Swale was part of the Tiger Eye team. He was part of the Tiger Eye team of the popular investigative journalist Anas Arimeyao. He was the same, that minister was the same person that brought the face of Ahmed Hussein Swale and said, when you meet him outside, beat him. It wasn't up to a week, we heard that Ahmed Swale was murdered by unknown assailants. And now to now, that case has died. It was in this same country that there was an issue where Caleb Kuda from CTTV and Zoya Abubedu was to report. And they were mercilessly beaten. It was in the same country that we've seen a lot of attacks on journalists. You can be in a radio station as I am right now, and then you see people entering to beat me because I'm saying something that they feel like is tarnishing the image of the country. And during those times, the former vice president has lost his voice. He has lost that confidence to tell us that, no, this is not right, you should do it this way. No, they didn't. And even when we try to let them know that Ghana is a democratic country and we have the freedom, they always preach on giving out freedom of speech, right? Freedom of speech, yes. But we were not given that freedom of speech. I mean, media personnel were treated as if we were nothing in this country. And we all know that the media works hand in hand with the government. So, you know, the previous governments, it's like the media has now become for the government. So even if the government is doing something bad, you cannot say it. Even if it's going wrong, because you fear for your life, one, and you fear for your job. Because if you're not careful, either they dismissed you or they sacked you, because a letter will be written. It was during that same government that Johnny Hughes, he used to present at TV3 morning show. Because of that, he was being sent to the FM station. If I'm wrong, I stand to be corrected. But even with all these things that was going on, the Akufo-Addo government didn't have anything to tell us. They couldn't come out to tell us that no, this is what they are supposed to do. They should do it. They should allow. No, they didn't. They kept quiet. And it was in the same country that protesters were beaten and arrested. During the previous government, you go out to, pour out your grievances, and then at the end of the day, they arrest you, and then we have to demonstrate. I can even count about 1,000 demonstrations we've done in this country, and they've never, given an ear to what we have to say. And then they end up arresting us on top. And then I think before you should even come on, you should assess yourself. Hey, during my government, I couldn't do anything, so I should just keep quiet. But no, you feel like the current government, who is in for barely a month and a week, is not doing things right. So the former vice president is now an advisor to the current president, and then creating jobs. What didn't we see in the past governments, or what didn't we experience in the previous government, where citizens complain, they lament, and then no one hears us? And it's like this song, Uswana miyo, more nankebede na yaoya. That was what we were experiencing during the Akufo-Addo government. Because the more we complain, the more they do it. So it will make us more because I'm already in power. That's how we felt. And then you see, that's why I would say, per what I've heard from people, main reason why they voted out the previous government. Because I was listening to a woman who was telling me that No, the previous government, they were not even listening to us. When we come to complain, they don't even mind us. You see, and you have forgotten that it is the same people who pushed you there. It is the same people who entrusted that power into your hands. So how are you going to put things in place when you don't listen to their grievances? If you don't listen to them, how do you know this is what they are going through? You see, that's what I'm saying, that with the current government, if they don't learn from the previous government, trust me, they will even be in opposition more. Because they refuse to listen. The previous government refused to listen. And then on top, they will cut cake and enjoy it and see video for us to see. Bringing all users taxes. That's when you sit and then you think about it. You don't even, you can't even figure the head, from the head to the tail. You don't even know what is going on. And then they'll cut cake, they will enjoy. And as I said, uswana miyo more na kebede na oya. That was what we were experiencing. And then you've now become an advisor. I think it should be included in the Council of State members. Is it Council of State members? Council of State, yes. Because you see, when I was coming, I was listening to someone who was saying something. He was like, if you are being given a role to play and you are leading, say, oh, what can I say? You don't know. Someone has to prompt you and tell you, say, what you are doing, like straighten the path, because it is not on a straight path. But with the previous government, even if we feel like their path is not straightened, no, we cannot straighten you. Yes, I know, but we can actually tell you how we feel, because you are there for us. You are there to serve us, and then you do things for us to feel comfortable. But in a place where you are going and then you feel like as you are walking, the path is straight, and so when we say something, you won't listen to us. And then now you've now become an advisor. Even come to think of it, does it really make sense when you have 2 weeks to leave office and then you employ people, nurses that have been crying for almost God knows how many years now? You've not employed them. 2 weeks to leave office, you've employed them, you've appointed ministers. And if the current government is revoking it, you've now become advisor to him. I leave the rest to us to judge by ourselves. Thank you for joining me. Join me next week, same day, same time.
Okay, so it's time for today in history. And did you know? So without wasting much time, moving to our first today in history. Robert Mugabe, President of Zimbabwe, born on 21st February 1924. Robert Mugabe, born in Kutama, Southern Rhodesia, now known as Zimbabwe, died September 6, 2019 in Singapore. Was the first prime minister from 1980 to 1987 of the reconstituted state of Zimbabwe, formerly Rhodesia. A black nationalist of Marxist persuasion, he eventually established one-party rule in his country, becoming executive president of Zimbabwe in 1987. He resigned on November 21, 2017, after succumbing to political and military pressure. 1952, British government announced abolition of personal identity cards required to be carried since the outbreak of World War II. Today in history, 2001. Great Britain suspends all exports of animals and animal products and sets up quarantine areas in an attempt to contain an outbreak of foot and mouth disease. Another outbreak in Argentina causes Brazil to issue a ban on Argentine beef. Today in history, 1989. 2 of Winnie Mandela's bodyguards were charged with abducting a 14-year-old boy on December 28 to 29, 1988, then murdering him in Mandela's house. The 2 men, who were also charged with kidnapping and beating 3 other young boys at the same time, had been arrested by South African police on February 19th. Both were members of what was called the Mandela United Football Club. Nelson Mandela was an activist who had already served 26 years of a life sentence for conspiring to overthrow the government of South Africa, had reportedly urged his wife to disassociate herself from the club. Today in history, 2006. Laurent Summers resigns as president of Harvard University. His 5 years in the post have been marked by controversies. 2002. Today in history. John Joghan, a defrocked priest, is sentenced to 10 years in prison for sexually molesting a 10-year-old boy. Revelations of Joghan's long career as a child molester and priest have led to calls for Boston's Bernard Cardinal Law to step down and to name of 90 current or former priests being turned over to prosecutors. Moving to Did You Know? An ostrich eye is bigger than its brain. An ostrich eye is bigger than its brain and is the largest eye of any living land animal, measuring 5 centimeters across. Did you also know that octopuses have 3 hearts? An octopus' 3 hearts have slightly different roles. One heart circulates blood around the body, while the other 2 pump it past the gills to pick up oxygen. Did you also know that your brain is constantly eating itself? We may imagine it to be relatively unchanging structure, but recent research has shown that the brain is in fact continuously changing its microstructure, and it does so by eating itself. The processes of eating things outside the cell, including other cells, is called phagocytosis. Did you also know that identical twins don't have the same fingerprints? Due to environmental factors that affect their development inside the womb, it's impossible for identical twins to have the same exact fingerprint. To our last Did You Know for today. Bananas are berries, but strawberries aren't. Bananas are berries, but strawberries aren't. Botanically speaking, bananas are classified as berries because they develop from a single ovary and contain seeds. On the other hand, strawberries, despite their names, are not berries. They develop from a flower from multiple ovaries and seeds on the outside. So that is all for today on Today in History and Did You Know? Over to Sister Asenam.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Regina Bless, for enlightening us on today in history and Did You Know? So for today, this is what I learned. I got to know that the eyes of the ostrich is bigger than its brain and is the largest eye of what?
Every living animal.
Every living animal on land.
Yeah.
On land.
Mm-hmm.
And today I also got to know that the octopus has 3 hearts, and each of the hearts has
its own functions
in the body.
The brain also eats itself.
The brain also eats itself. Wow. And bananas what?
Are berries. And strawberries aren't.
How come bananas are berries and strawberries aren't?
Okay, so bananas are berries because, botanically speaking, bananas are they develop from a single ovary and contain seeds, whereas strawberries, despite they are called berries but are not berries, they develop from a flower with multiple ovaries and seeds on the outside.
But all along,
Biology.
I've interchanged it. I see the strawberry to be a
berry and banana to be a fruit.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for enlightening us on that.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Miss Regina. I just saw something in the news, and it's quite unfortunate that veteran actor Mauli Semafor died after fire accident. So was it last week we saw in the news that he was involved in a fire incident?
Yeah, second degree burning.
Yeah, and I learned 40% of his body was burnt. He has lost his hair as well.
His hair.
His respiratory system is damaged.
Oh God.
That's quite unfortunate. And he passed out yesterday.
So sorry for the family.
With all the donation and seeking of alms.
We are going to miss him a lot for his acting skills. Yeah.
May his soul rest in perfect peace. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's newspaper headline. Today in history and Debbie's Girl. It's 8 a.m. We will go for the news.
We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Daybreak News on GhanaTalks Radio. Coming up, government has secured enough fuel to avert Dumso Kwachio Fosu. CLOSAG proceeds with strike over BEVs and DEVs registrar appointment. We are far advanced with processes to repeal LI 2464 Mutala, and in other stories, we'll go to court if unsatisfied with NMC's response. Guma FM on shutdown. This business, sports and showbiz is coming in this morning's bulletin. The news will be read by Awintemi Akansukum. Now let's settle for the details. The government has assured the public that it has secured adequate fuel supplies to sustain power generation, despite reports of intermittent outages, commonly referred to as Dumso, in some parts of the country. Addressing a press briefing Thursday, February 20, Minister of State for Government Communications Felix Kwachio Fosu acknowledged the recent power cuts, but emphasized that measures have been put in place to maintain a stable and reliable energy supply. He further stated that Energy Minister John Jinapor is closely monitoring the situation and would engage the public in the coming days to provide updates and address any concerns regarding the outages. Now, some members of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOSAG, in the northern region and other parts of the country have proceeded with a strike declared by their leadership in protest against the appointment of Samuel Adum Obotre as Registrar of the BEVs and DEVs Registry. A visit to the Northern Regional Department of BEVs and DEVs Thursday found the office locked, leaving customers stranded. Several applicants who had visited the registry for their certificates were unaware of the strike and had no choice but to return home. Meanwhile, at the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly and the Controller and Accountant General's Department, some workers remained at polls. While some dismissed the strike as insignificant, CAGD staff noted that they were processing end-of-month payment and would join the strike afterwards. CLOSAG is protesting what it described as a political appointment of Samuel Adum Botre. The association's secretary, and Isaac Bampo Ado, has called on the presidency to revoke the appointment, citing a Supreme Court ruling that bars civil servants from active partisan politics. Now, Minister for Environment, Science and Technology Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed has announced significant progress in the government's effort to repeal Legislative Instrument 2464, LI 2464, which permits mining in forest reserves. Speaking on the point of view Wednesday, February 19, Murtala Mohammed reaffirmed President John Dramani Mahama's commitment to the repeal and provided an update on the ongoing processes. President Mahama promised that he was going to repeal LI 2464, which allows mining in forest reserves. We have begun processes and we are far advanced. I, as the minister responsible for initiating the process to ensure that this particular LI is repealed, is far advanced, Mohammed stated. He emphasized the government's dedication to protecting Ghana's forest reserves and highlighted the rapid progress being made. Far advanced, maybe within days, the people of this country would hear something on it, he added. Now, to other stories, the management of Guma FM has vowed to take legal action if they are not satisfied with a response from the National Media Commission (NMC) regarding the recent shutdown of the station. Speaking to Accra-based City FM in an interview Thursday, the general manager of Guma FM, Nuruddin Guma, stated that the station will first seek clarification from the National Communications Authority on the exact reasons for its closure. He stated that if the explanation is unsatisfactory, management would escalate the issue and ultimately take it to court. We are going to write to the NMC about the reason behind them shutting us down. Would also petition the National Media Commission to look into the matter on whether they have other options for us now. His comment comes after the Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation, Samuel Nati George, ordered the immediate shutdown of the radio station in Boko following the urgent national security concerns raised by the Upper East Regional Security Council, RECSEC. The directive comes as after an emergency RECSEC meeting held February 11, 2025, where intelligence reports indicate that Guma FM was being used as a platform to incite violence, disrupt public order, and escalate tension in Boko and parts of Northeast region. Citing Section 13(1)(e) of the Electronic Communications Act 2008, Act 775, the government directed the National Communications Authority to enforce the station's closure in the interest of national security and public order. The station's management has also condemned the shutdown, describing it as politically motivated, and has challenged the Communications Ministry to provide concrete evidence of any wrongdoing. Now, moving straight to some business this morning, the West Africa Gas Pipeline Company Limited, WAPCO, has announced that 70% of its ongoing maintenance work have been completed, bringing the company closer to resuming gas supply to Tema. The maintenance project, which includes on and offshore pipeline cleaning and inspection exercise known as pigging, was initially scheduled for February 3, 2025 and is expected to be fully completed by March 2, 2025. Speaking at a press briefing at WAPCO's site in the Tema industrial area, Engineer Benoni Owusu Aye, the operations and maintenance superintendent for Western Operations, reassured the public of the company's commitment to meeting the deadline. The maintenance work are crucial to ensuring the efficiency and safety of the gas pipeline, which plays a key role in Ghana's energy supply. Now, moving straight to some sport, Ghana Football Association President Keto Kreku has clarified that his recent conspicuous absence from his profile meetings involving the GFA and Ghanaian football stakeholders was to address medical concerns outside Ghana and not to campaign for a CAF executive position. Speaking to the media in Kumasi during his visit to the Kumasi Asante Kotoko and the family of the late Francis Yaupole Frimpong, the GFA president debunked speculations that his trip was related to his bid for a spot on the CAF executive committee. Kotoko fan Pole was stabbed multiple times when Kotoko played a Ghana Premier League game against Nsotriman FC and died from the stab wounds, signaling problems with hooliganism in Ghana football. The clarification comes after Keto Kreku faced criticisms for his absence following the tragic death of Pole in the violent altercation during a match in Nsotore. The GFA president commended football stakeholders' swift response to the violent incident and the close working relationship between key parties, including Kotoko, the Ghana Police Service, and the media. Now, moving straight to showbiz, information reaching the media indicates that celebrated actor Mauli Samavo has died. The unfortunate incident happened Thursday, February 20, at the Rich Hospital, where he was receiving treatment after suffering burns from a fire accident about a week ago. He was 63. On February 8, 2025, Judith Addison of Beyond Burns International, a dedicated non-profit organization committed to providing advocacy and support for burns survivors, reported that Mauli had been involved in a fire accident and was in critical condition. Beyond Burns International got an SOS that something unfortunate had happened. We came here today, and veteran actor Mauli Samavo had been involved in a severe fire accident. I came here to see him, and his life is hanging in the balance, Judith said in the video report posted on their social media pages. According to her, Mauli was sleeping in his house when it caught fire. He has suffered burns up to 44% of his body. He has respiratory injuries and cannot breathe properly. This is very serious. From his head to his legs, everywhere caught fire, and he has lost all his hairs, she further stated. The report was later corroborated by actors such as Ken Fiati and Eddie Nam Atachi. Mauli Samavo is known for his immaculate acting skills, both on stage and in movies. He has played roles in movies such as Harvest at 17, A Stab in the Dark, Escape of Love, like Courting Twins, and The Good Old Days, The Love of AA. And that's it with the Daybreak News on Ghana Talks Radio. Log on to www.GhanaTalksRadio.com for more of these stories. The news was read by Awentemi Akansukumasi. Thanks so much for making time. Good morning.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast. French fry.
Koko Nikosi, alo komi kesheto.
Wachi.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sport, and all trending stories live on our mobile app And also follow us on our socials at GhanaTalks Radio.
From Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with me, Pakwesi Obare,
Deborah Adolso,
Regina Bliss.
And I am Esinom. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Ghana Talks Radio, #1.
Good morning once again as we welcome you to the Friday edition of the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show on Ghana Talks Radio. My name is Pakwesi Omare, and in the studios with me is my ever beautiful co-host Ruth Esinam. Yes, Ruth Esinam, and also my very able gentleman who holds the discussion with us every Thursday and Friday. He doesn't want the title honorable, so today I'll go with Mr. Dubik, Stephen. Dubik, good morning. Good morning to everyone listening to us, our beautiful audience. We thank you for tuning in, and we urge you to join the conversation on all our social media platforms at Ghana Talks Radio. You can join us on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on X. Also, you can follow through on our WhatsApp line 0202-544-614, 0202-544-614. Our website also on www.ghanatalksradio.com. This morning we are going to look through some very intriguing stories that came up in the past 24 hours. And I think that there have been some good news this week, even though some bad nuts took the lead. But to the end of the week, good news be every mwaba and I no pay be shemu esi.
Yes.
Enra omoto salary so.
Yes, by 10%.
Yes, I mean, even though they were holding, the labor force was holding up for more than 10%.
Yes.
There was a communication what brought to the understanding with the president to hold on to 10%. So semunji yina se niema koya.
Yeah.
Hey, Debbie.
But even that, people are still not happy with the 10% increment.
Why?
Simply because they feel it's
You see, what I don't get about Ghanaians
it's
as of now is that the previous administration, wanya mamu. I know.
But here lies the case. People are also saying that if we claim the economy is in shambles, how can you come within like 1 month and then you increase salary for public sector workers?
So I'm on
Yes.
What do you think?
The shambolic state of the economy
affect
the public sector workers too, doesn't it? Cost of living affects the public sector workers. So if they expect the president, the government cannot just sit down and then not do anything about it because the state of the economy is in tatters. You get it? At a point in time, something must give. The president or the government must also do things to ease the shambolic state of the economy and the challenges it brings to the public sector workers and the citizens at large. To a certain minimum, he must cushion the people a little bit. And in this state, if he does that, I think it is good.
Okay.
And I think that the president showed leadership by going down, meeting the labor union himself, and negotiating himself. It has never happened that a president would go down there and discuss things with them. Normally it is the Minister of Labor who does that. But this time around, I think that it shows the urgency and the state the economy is in. If the president himself decides that, okay, if I have to do this, well, it's a good thing. Okay. It's a very good thing.
It's a good thing for some 10% increment in the minimum wage for public service workers. Now, on to the next one is the upcoming address of the nation's state. The presidency has announced that next week they are going to address the state of the nation.
Yeah.
Now, yesterday when he met the labor force, there were some things that the president said. He said that you guys should actually relax for us, because what we thought isn't actually what it even is, because some of the things we've discovered and still discovering makes this country a crime scene. That was how the president described the states. Okay. Unofficially, let me put it that way, because there's an informal address of the states. So, I mean, heading up to the nation's address coming up next week, what are you looking forward to? What are some of the things that you expect the president to be highlighting the entire nation about?
The true state of the nation.
Yeah.
He should tell us the true state of the nation.
He should tell us the true state of the nation.
Where Ghana is, we don't have time to be diplomatic. Okay. We can't mince words. We should tell the people the things we've discovered and what they are exactly. No political coloration to it, no blame games. You came because you said you could fix the problem.
Yeah.
And if you're here today, tell us what the problems are and the steps you are taking to solve it. One thing that really hurt the MPP was what do you call it? Telling us what the problems were without giving out solutions.
Okay. But did they even tell us what the problems were?
At some point they tried. When they realized they were losing, they tried.
Because I remember vividly that, and especially the energy sector, we began experiencing power outages.
No, the energy sector, the man who was the Minister of Energy is an egoistic guy. He would never admit when something is bad going on, and it can be attributed to his style of management.
Okay, so let's just say that was just it. But the financial space, the finance minister, do you remember that one time he gave an address and was like, we should give him up to like 4 days and see where the dollar would drop to. And it's never did.
You see, that same finance minister came and then apologized for the things that they did wrong. Do you remember? I mean, Hunter. So, in as much as they got a lot of things wrong, there are certain things that I feel they tried to get right. That was in the latter part of leaving office. Even admitting, their own self admitting that e-levy was a bad tax.
Oh, so they admitted.
Yes, but if they didn't admit, why would they say they will cancel it?
Okay.
That was let me put it in your own words, an unofficial admission. Betting tax. They admitted it was a bad thing, and they also admitted that cancelling road tolls was wrong. So these are some of the admissions that they did.
They did that.
That even though they didn't officially say
they were wrong,
they were wrong, but they did admit it in some way.
Okay.
If you want to analyze it, you say it was an admission of wrong in that perspective.
Okay. So the big things that the president should communicate the true state of the nation. No mention of words not being diplomatic. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's red, it's red. If it's black, undiluted truth.
They should give us the figures. The figures. We need the figures.
Sir.
They should give us the figures.
The real figures.
Attached with documents. Let's peruse it. Let's analyze it ourselves. Understand the true state of the nation.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
If you just come and tell me, oh, GDP has grown up to this, without giving me the factors leading to the GDP growth or decrease, I wouldn't understand. I'll just go by your words and you say, oh, it's okay. No, but we should move away from that type of governance we should just come and then tell us figures and you accept us to accept your figures.
Cabinet formed yesterday.
Yes.
With 19 members.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
Yes.
19.
Now, leading to the formation of his cabinet, he promised that he's going to have, and I mean His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, that he's going to have about 30% of women in the formation of his government, his cabinet. With the numbers we saw there,
How many women do we have in there?
I saw 2 women. I don't know if I'm reading some of the names wrong, but
Okay.
I saw 2 women in there.
So
Yeah.
two out of the 19 gives us which percentage?
That's just about. Is it even about 3%?
It should be more than 3%.
Are you sure?
Yes. You can just check it on Google for me. 2% of 19.
Regardless of that, I mean, this president is trying to play with our minds. You can't promise us something and then.
How?
No, you promised 30%. Now we have 2 women out of 19. And people are asking questions. Did he just say that to, I mean, get the women empowerment advocates on his side leading to the elections? Because he championed a platform for them if he should resume power. And now he's, in a way, sidelined them. Because when the oral team was formed, people raised concerns. Why is it no woman on the team? Oh, we have so many committees to form, so women will come on. Then the cabinet is formed. 2 women. And even with that, you promised 30% of women. Now, what was the percentage you got? I know you've calculated. So what was the percentage?
Tell us yourself.
0.38.
So you see. I mean, it's
it is 0.38. You see, I am not a gender enthusiast.
Okay.
I don't care who holds what position or which position.
Yeah.
But let me make a premise before I get there.
Okay.
The Constitution allows the president to have 19 cabinet ministers, no more.
Yeah. Yeah, we understand that.
Okay. And these cabinet ministers should come from essential ministries. So you cannot just go pick any minister from anywhere and come and make him a cabinet minister.
Yeah.
So let's ask ourselves, those ministries that are supposed to be cabinet ministers, how many of them has women as their ministers? So do we expect the president to sideline the finance minister and bring in a woman to replace him, to sideline the defense minister, interior, energy, education?
You see, when I was following Debbie's Grill earlier on the show, she said something that you don't bite what you can chew.
What you can chew.
You promise them. You promise us 30% of women. We don't really care if we should go by your promise. How the gender appointment became, which is why you can't really put 30% on the team.
What exactly do we want as Ghanaians?
We want honesty
and someone who is competent
and accountability. You promise us
okay,
so
you
deliver by that.
So if I'm honest with you, and the country crashes, you're okay.
Well,
you're not asking me for competence. You're not asking me for reasonability. You are asking me for honesty.
So, Dubik, are you saying that the president didn't think women were competent enough to be part of the cabinet. That's why he just brought you on.
Well, I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, I made a premise.
Okay.
I said that there are essential ministries that must be part of cabinet, and those ministers, it is not women heading those ministries.
Okay.
For example, the finance ministry,
I think I get where you're coming from.
the defense ministry, interior, agriculture, foreign affairs,
Food and agriculture.
what do you call it?
Environment.
Education, environment.
Roads and highways.
Exactly, roads and highways. These ministries are headed by men. They are men, oh. They are men. Okay, if you look at the finance ministry, you can say that, oh, the finance ministry, I think Adongo could have, is an alternative to Atoforsen. When you go to other ministries, you find people who are alternative to the people heading it right now. Can you name women who are alternative to these ministries that I just mentioned? Can you name a woman in the NDC currently who can be an alternative to Atoforsen in the finance ministry?
Rubik.
Yes.
This is a very critical question you're asking.
Yes.
And it can raise a whole lot of discussions, because to so many people's understanding.
So you see where the competency comes from?
Okay.
No, look. This is downplaying the competency of women.
Nobody
the
is
women in
downplaying.
power now.
Nobody is downplaying the
No,
competency
if
of
you
women.
ask that, is any woman fit as an alternative to the current finance minister? Are you really saying that we can't find one woman?
I ask you, so find me. You get it? It's a question I ask. We're having a discussion, right? You ask me questions and I answer them. So if I ask you a question, you also answer. Because for me, from where I'm sitting and what the information that I have, Atoforsen and Adongo, they are alternate. One can be and one can also be. You get it? If there was a woman in the conversation and we sidestepped the woman to give it to these men, then the question of downplaying the competence of a woman would have come here. But in the NDC as right now, I don't see a woman in the NDC.
Okay, you don't see.
I don't see.
Okay.
Who can be an alternative to any of these people I just mentioned,
Okay.
which is the finance minister.
That's understandable.
Let's go to Agrek. Can you get me one who is alternative to Eric Opoku? No.
Okay, so you
Let's go to defense.
find
Even Ghana as we speak.
Yeah.
Have we ever had a chief of defense staff who is a woman? Never.
And why do you think it's so? Is it that we don't think
it's
women
not.
are competent?
I can't
in
tell you.
outside positions?
You see, women, we won't give women gifts. You must take it. You see, the way we are championing this gender thing, it's like now because we need equality, we should bring women on board. No, you see,
the whole thing is this. That's not about people complaining that why didn't he bring on board 30%. That's about he promising and failing to deliver on that promise. Let's take it from that angle. I don't want you to. That's not even about gender equality.
It's about gender equality.
No, it's about a failed promise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. If I say, oh, when I come to the studio yesterday, I went home with you.
Yeah.
So on our way to the house, and I told you that, oh, today when I come, I'll give you all the water in the studio to drink, okay?
Yeah.
And I get to the studio, and I have only 3 bottles of water left in the studio.
Yeah.
And out of the 3, I give you, this is the 3 bottles left. And you tell me, because I said I'll give you all the water.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you enough water. What are you telling me?
Oh, but with that, I mean, if there's only 3 here, that's all the water we have, right? So I'll still do it.
No.
If you tell me that,
if you take 3 and you tell me it's not enough.
No, the 3 is enough because that is all we have here. Are you getting me? If we had 10, and you tell me, oh, I said I'll give you all the water, but it seems AC is here, so let me give AC.
Okay,
one.
so in this in this scenario, you feel that women should have 30% of the women should have been part of the cabinet, regardless of the position or the ministries they hold.
I'm saying that the president should have gone by his word because it's a sort of these things.
I think that sometimes we are unreasonable people as Ghanaians. we are very unreasonable people because the analogy I just made is that I give you all the water I have. Now you tell me it's not enough. The water, that's the all the. These are the women who can be part of cabinet. They head ministries that can be part of cabinet. I ask you for an alternative minister who is a female for agriculture. You didn't get me.
If we should present this to the women in parliament right now, who can actually present herself as an agriculture minister? Are you telling me none of them will step up?
It's also about the experience. My boss, you see, I'm coming.
We will get into this conversation.
Let me just make this point. You see, in as much as we encourage women to be part of our governance, we must also encourage women to put themselves in position that they will be part of our governance.
Okay, that's a great advice. If you want to be part of something, you position yourself
exactly
to be part of that thing.
Now, let me just ask this. There are people, women around. Why is Isinam here?
It's why are you here?
Because I feel management feel I'm competent enough to be the co-host for the morning show. That's why I'm here.
Now,
voila.
So
now my friend has come.
Management felt that
I was competent enough to be your co-host for the morning show.
Exactly. So if AC didn't feel she was competent enough, whatever management felt wouldn't have brought you here.
So it boils down to AC's feeling and putting himself in a position that management will now see her competence.
It also boils down to what I was asking you, that if we should present this to the women in parliament, are you telling me none of them is going to step up and say, yes, I can hold this position?
You will step up to say I can hold the position, right?
But you are saying it will take experience. You are very.
But do you also think Mahama hasn't also gone through maybe the list or the women in parliament before assigning those roles to them?
Everybody comes with their CVs.
See, the whole thing is this. It's not about whether this is fit or this is that. He promised something.
Okay.
Now this is something that went a long way in him becoming a president, because that sidelining of women in power has become a very big issue.
No, just hold on a second. See, from 1992, check the data. From 1992 up to today, the Fourth Republic, women's participation in politics has been growing.
We understand that, and you promised something. That is all I want you to understand. So you promised it, you failed to deliver. That's the conversation.
Nobody's. I'm not saying that he has not failed though.
Good.
That's not the point though.
Good. Okay.
The point is that
we are good to go.
In as much as he promised you 30%,
we are good to go. We are good to go.
There are factors.
If you admit that he failed, we are good to go.
There are factors.
There's no justification.
He just wants him to admit that he has failed.
He failed to deliver.
So, and what would that admission do to
next time, he shouldn't bite what he can achieve. I mean, you are still with us on Ghana Talks Breakfast Show this morning, and we are getting into the conversations. Join the conversations also on our WhatsApp line 0202-544-614. You can call through, you can text us. We will read out your message. We will get interactive with you. Also on our social media platforms at Ghana Talks Radio. Don't forget your hashtag Ghana Talks BFS. Hashtag Ghana Talks BFS. Yesterday, there was a developing issue regarding a discussion we had yesterday, which was about this people going for strike and all of that.
The closer.
Okay. We've realized that some other unions want to join the force to go on strike. Some teachers are saying they've laid out over 20,000 teachers. The justification from the NDC, and with this one, I don't want to speak for this one or speak for that one. During the transition team, it was made clear by the NDC that something is fishy. Don't go on with it. You said, okay, we will address it. You pass back door, go do something. And they are doing what they said they will do. Who is supposed to be blamed here? Is it the NDC? Because they saw the consequence of this. That is why they mentioned that don't go ahead to do it. You went ahead to do it. Now the people are complaining. Who should they complain to? We all understand the unemployment factors in the country, which is bad. So when people are given employment, we should be happy. But not at the expense of the nations whatsoever. So with this one, I myself will say that even though it's a harsh decision by the NDC, they are right to do that. The public should understand. And yeah, NDC they say I believe. And yeah, Mahama they say they communicated it to the NPP. Say move fi power. Enyema we are mu ye eremwa entima mo ye. Mo say okay ye be address it. Then you go on to do this. The frustration by the public should go to the NPP and not the NDC. That's what I will say about this.
You see, the frustration of the public cannot go to the NPP, in as much as NPP made mistakes. I understand if people want to bash NDC for this, because they are in power. Whatever happens, they will take the full brunt of it. But the whole issue is that the Transitional Act allows you to do your handing over note 6 months prior to elections. And the handing over notes includes the number of public workers, number of government employees. So if you do your handing over in June and you recruit after December, what exactly are you handing over? Is it the June figure or the December figure? Which you cannot now go back to June and add the December figures. Even budget that is approved by Parliament, the people's representatives, you are not allowed to do a budget subsequent election.
Okay.
You do the budget and you do a mini budget for just 3 months into the next year after elections.
Okay.
So if we have this as a governance principle, as law, why would you employ somebody after you've lost elections or closer to elections?
That is the issue. I mean, I think it's a developing story.
Yeah.
Probably by next week we will find more of it.
The NDC would suffer for this decision.
Yeah.
Yes, I know they will, but they have to. It is a necessity that they must, because at the end of the day, we all are saying the economy is bad. Do you remember Kenneth Oforiatta put a freeze on public sector employment?
Yeah, I do.
Has that freeze been lifted, and in which budget did they lift that freeze?
All these things are some of the things that I really expect the president to address in his nation's speech coming next week. So we'll get into that next week. Now, to today's issues, topics for discussion, which we are going to be very brief on that. The Boko conflict is still going on. Honestly, what exactly is the problem with those people?
You see, the Boko issues, if I decide that I'm going to be blunt, I'm sure that I won't leave this place to my house. Not alive, but the national security will have to pick me up and drive me to their house instead of my own house.
Wow.
So I'll try and be as diplomatic as I can.
You try and be.
Okay. The Boko conflict stems from colonial rules and regulations and all that. We know the owners of the Boko land.
Yeah.
Who are they? People who were habitats on the land before the white man came. We know them.
Okay.
We know the people who were taken there as the representative of the white man. So how can a representative of a white man now claim ownership of the land he never habited from time immemorial? And that issue is not in Boko alone. We have some in Bolga. We have some in Tongo.
So what do you think should be done about this? Because see, in as much as we can deliberate on this, people are dying.
Yeah, people are
dying.
dying.
Some people just innocently traveling to some places.
Burkina Bay, a Togolese was killed.
I mean,
they are not part of the conflict.
Yes.
You see,
what should be done? Because the state
we should
doing about it.
We should. The whole simple issue is our political will to enforce the court ruling. Do you know this case had been to court and ruled upon?
In whose favor was it ruled?
It was ruled in favor of the Kusases.
Okay. So why then is there a conflict still going on?
You should ask them.
What should the
people,
presidency?
You see, this thing I wouldn't say it has now taken a political twist. Now politics has sneaked into the whole thing.
Yeah, and I was going to ask, what is the political influence in all this?
Okay. I heard.
Yeah.
And it be making rounds on social media. Let me put it that way. That people, the other one faction was emboldened because their people was in power.
Okay.
And they wanted to make sure they secure themselves the place, the
languages,
the leadership of the place before whatever happens. And it appears that, based on what I've seen on social media, that some people in authority aided them at that time.
They did what?
Aided them, helped them in that regard. So if you could remember, on the eve of the election, the Kusa, I won't call Bokonaba, the Kusase side, poured libation and said that if any Kusase person vote for the MPP, the gods of their land should strike that person. So yes, so if you realized there are some polling stations in that part of the country that Baumia really got 0.
Yeah. So that was the reason.
Yes.
Because I kept wondering, like 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could count about 10 polling stations. 0.
And don't forget that in these polling stations they had reps.
Yeah.
So this thing, the Boko conflict, it's just about we enforcing the law. The Supreme Court has ruled on the matter already. Shouldn't be something that we should be labeling over and over and over.
So we should enforce the laws in
yes, I happen to come from Bonkurugo.
Okay.
And I once asked my father that why do we as a people, the Bimobas, when we settle on our chief, we have to go to the Nairi for legitimacy.
Okay.
And then he told me that it's a colonial something. The British, when they decided to expand their territories, got to Wale Wale and then agreed with the Nairi that he should look over their territory there. He should be the representative there. So all the tribes beyond Wale Wale, if you at that time, if you installed a new king or inskin a new king, you would bring him to Nairi to kind of legitimize him before you can now call yourself a king.
Okay.
And that is creating a problem. Okay. So if any of the tribe they install their king and the Nairi and his people doesn't like, they can also install anyone. Or anyone can also come to him and then he will.
So all these things, what is the solution to all these things?
The solution to all these things is going back to what used to be.
Okay.
Which is every tribe should install their king without recourse to Nairi or whoever.
Okay. And
you get it.
What do you think that can be stemmed? Would it take a political measure?
Of course. Okay. At the point, it will need a political measure and not being diplomatic, not trying to please everybody.
Okay.
You get it.
Like
You
doing the right thing.
Do the right thing and damn the consequences.
All right. That is good. Do the right thing and damn the consequences, as Dubik put it. Now we are moving on to our next topic, but before then, I want you to join the conversation on all our social media platforms at GhanaTalks Radio. At GhanaTalks Radio. You can also join through our WhatsApp line 0202 544 614 0202 544 614. The Foreign Affairs Minister, Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, has stated yesterday that the passport office is going to run
for 24 hours.
Yeah. And we all know some of the issues we have regarding this passport.
Getting passports.
Yes.
The passport delay
and all that.
Yeah.
What are some of the effects of this 24-hour shifts on the passport processing going to have on assassination?
Well, the passport issues goes way back, and it's a security issue actually.
Really?
Passport, yes.
It's a security issue.
It's a security issue.
Wow.
Imagine a suicide bomber, ISIS.
Yeah.
Can get access to your passport. That means if he's coming into your country, he doesn't need a visa.
Yeah.
He can come, do whatever he wants, go back because he has your passport. He says he's your countryman. And there are Nigerians in Ghana who has Ghanaian passport.
Wow.
Yes. There are Nigerians in Ghana who have birth sets
as Ghanaians.
As Ghanaians.
Really?
It's a security issue.
Wow.
It's a security issue. And past administrations has tried to do something about it. Hannah Tete started the digitalization of the passport process.
Okay.
The biometric passport system came in, and we've been making gradual progress, but not in the pace that we would have wished for.
Okay.
You get it. I think that this 24-hour shift system at the passport office will address some challenges, but not all.
What are some of the challenges that you think the passport office itself is facing?
Guru boys, one.
Okay.
Sometimes availability of even materials to print passports. Sometimes they can tell you the paper. So what is the point in running a 24-hour shift if you don't have papers for the people to work with?
Okay.
So these are some of the challenges I think that they should address alongside running that shift system.
Okay.
Because passport is more or less your identity. If you have your passport, that is your identity.
Yeah.
That is what identifies you as a Ghanaian. If they cut me and blood is coming, see the red go green. You see red. Everybody has red blood.
Okay.
So the only thing that will differentiate me as a Ghanaian from a Togolese is my passport.
Okay.
And if you want to say language to everybody, I can learn French and start speaking French today. So the passport is something that I feel that Ghana as a nation should look at it carefully. We shouldn't just make political decisions and trying to please people and saying that because we promise 24 hours we must deliver. Actually, for me, no, sometimes if you fail on a promise and I realize the reasons behind you failing was beyond your control, I tend to understand.
Okay.
If passport doesn't run 24 hours and then some of these challenges are addressed, are we cool than having passport running 24 hours and
still
employing
having
people and
those
still having
challenges.
these challenges.
So
See,
what really will you propose to the minister going into this 24-hour shift? Some of the things that he needs to address to make it work effectively.
we already
for all
have the
of us.
Ghana cards.
Yeah.
We should integrate it into the passport system.
Okay.
We already have our biometrics taken at the Ghana cards already.
Yeah.
So I think that if you need a passport and you don't have a Ghana card, the first thing you do is go get your Ghana card.
Okay.
Get your biometrics taken. When that is done, now apply. Just apply for the passport.
Yeah.
Let the passport now go into the Ghana card database.
All right.
Get your biometric,
And then
your
we need
names, and print it out for you. That will be the simplest form of achieving efficiency when it comes to printing.
that will be the
Exactly.
efficient way.
But
Great.
but you think people are going to patronize it? As in, if it should be operated night and morning, night and dawn, people will leave their comfort of their home
You
at
see,
night to go in.
I think that
the operation of the 24 hours at the passport office does not encompass everything. It does not entail everything. There are some aspects of the passport processing that would go through that. For example, is printing, analyzing the data. But of course, your biometrics will be taken in the day. And when it comes to sorting, when they are done, they do sorting. They sort and know the date you are supposed to collect and arrange them. Those things can be done in the night. But as in the collection and all that, it will be done in the day because nobody will wake up at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m.
Yes, and even with the collection of it, he also proposed that it's going to be on delivery basis. So wherever you are, they just deliver it to you. And also,
is it safe enough?
Oh yes, it's safe. It's safe. Even food we deliver.
Yes,
it's safe. And with the cost too, he says he's looking into reducing it from the 500 cedis. And
of course,
that,
I shouldn't pay for. I shouldn't pay that much for it.
The increase was mind-boggling, like 50 and 100 cities to 500 cities.
And they said you were traveling too much, so they wanted to stop. Well, didn't you hear that justification? You heard it.
Ghana, we are funny.
Didn't you hear that justification?
Some of the justifications we give to pressing issues.
And 3 days ago, I heard a former minister in Parliament say we should mount CCTV cameras on the river bodies to stop galamsey. I asked my how damn can this guy be?
And also galamsey. Charlie, the thing, I don't know. It's still going on. Yeah, that's our last.
Even us hearing that they are burning the excavators and all of that, but still, it's still ongoing.
Okay. The thing about galamsey is it's normally in Ghana when the problem starts. Once politics gets into it, the problem escalates. Galamsey, let me say it in Chi. And you know. You remember, have you heard this song, Bema Beko Takwa? Kose Kose. It's by, I think, Amachi Dede, yes. Amachi Dede.
Okay.
That song is a Galamsey song.
Wow.
Because at that time, gold mine, they were mining the gold in rocks.
Yeah.
They had a metal mortar and what do you call it? A metal pestle. Okay. So they will go use chisel and hammer, break the stones, come and put it in there, crash it. So it was hard work.
But I'm coming because I think our time is almost up. The Minister for Lands previously mentioned that some forest has been taken over by galamsees and all that with ammunitions and so many things. Erastus Asare, who has been championing the campaign for the end galamsey thing, also complained about even after power being changed, people also taking over from the other people
of course.
who thought yes.
They were.
But yesterday, there was a release or statement that some actions have been taken, which was very commendable. For Erastus himself to say that that was commendable because
what were the actions that were taken?
He said there was about 20 excavators being seized in Bains from serious galamseers that those people have been threatening his life for even coming there to take coverage. But the minister, in collaboration with the military, has been able to stop these people, seize the excavators, and I think set it to fire or something.
Okay.
So there's fire still goes on.
Yes.
But I mean, does it really have to take this long?
For the galamsey fight?
Yeah.
Yes, it has to.
What needs to be done? Like we shouldn't try to control it. We need it to stop.
Yeah.
What should be done?
You see, galamsey, we need to criminalize surface mining.
Okay, that's a great word, and I like it. We should criminalize it. And we can even shoot.
You see, surface mining wasn't a thing. In the days, nobody did surface mining until before passed a law allowing surface mining. That brought in Newmont Ghana Limited.
Okay.
Because their first 10 years, they did surface mining until they did the deep mining. So I think that once we are able to get rid of surface mining, we can stop galamsey.
Once we are able to get rid of surface mining, we can solve galamsey. Thank you, the big Stephen, this morning for joining in the conversations and giving us all the insights and knowledge about these topics that we had. We will come your way next week. Join us Monday, but it's a funky Friday. The weekend is here. Kona Koreanam. Nakojiwa home. For the big, I know he will be going somewhere that he So yes, thank you. This is the Ghana Breakfast Show. We have our second. You want to say something?
My little girl is with me today.
Oh
wow!
So today, I'm not going anywhere from here.
Yay! What's her name?
Kukwa. Her name is Andrea, the big Ghanaian, but she
popularly known as Kukwa.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. AKA Kukwa. Shout out to Kukwa who actually I mean, me unkola say me fo.
And
I will be.
The more about.
And if I know, bra.
So thank you for making time with us. There's the first segment. We are coming back your way very shortly with the second segment, which is the Ghana Talk Health Matters, where we bring you all your health education on various health issues with Dr. George. So stay with us as Dr. George takes over very soon.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with GhanaTalks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With GhanaTalks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. GhanaTalks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. GhanaTalks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast. French fry.
Koko nikosi alo komi kesheto.
Well,
Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues,
entertainment, sport, and all trending stories live on our mobile app, and also follow us on our socials at GhanaTalks Radio.
From Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with me, Pakwesi Obare,
Deborah Adolso,
Regina Bliss,
and I am Esinom. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Every occasion demands the company of good music that fits the purpose. At GTR Sounds, we understand your need to create just the right atmosphere for your wedding or engagement, party, funeral, crusade, political campaign or rally, or just any other event, as well as executive and corporate functions. With our modern and high-quality spinning machines, mixers, microphones, and power amplifiers, binary speakers, and subs, we offer the highest of sound quality and music play at events and functions. At GTR Sounds, we have a team of seasoned and highly experienced sound engineers who understand just the right choice of music for your event. Locate our studios at Aponchi Hotel in Anya or call our numbers 054-8522-897 or 027-3363-973. You can also reach via our email sounds@GhanaTalksRadio.com. At GTR Sounds, we take care of your event.
Ghana Talks Radio, I wo UK abrochimemu era from Ghana mu ha the sound system which spinning machine papa every amana ne ababegu o Ghana mu ha enti se we ye a year we ye engagement we ye wedding we ye birthday party political parties are mo ye rally some we ye sorry mo ye crusade so we bo carnival or any kind of event now we pe spinning machine papa a bo sound no mu e de dia ene me kanfo GTR sounds e de emawo ye wa live band nso a woto nsa e de frɛn ya ye betimi ababeboa ama wodwumedi a wodie nso atimi aye kama pa ye wo enkan poponi mantamo anya Aponchi Hotel ɛhɔ pepepe ɛna ye butuo odi ane sɛ wo bɛfrɛ empanifoɔ ɛwɔ 0546960510 GTR Sounds emu de angaza.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast. French fry.
Koko Nikosi, Alo Komi Kesheto,
Wachi.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues,
entertainment, sport, and all trending stories live on our mobile app, and also follow us on our socials at GhanaTalks Radio.
From Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with me, Pakwesi Obare,
Deborah Adolso,
Regina Bliss,
and I am Esinom. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. This is the second segment of the show. This is where we bring you Your Health Matters. It's going to be a segment where we discuss all the various health issues that we see amongst ourselves in society. And blessed with us on this segment, this and every Friday, is going to be Dr. George Anagli, a health enthusiast a health influencer who is going to take us through all your health education on Ghana Talks Radio today and every other Friday. In the studios with us is Dr. George. And Dr. George, I want to say how blessed and honored we are to have you in our midst this morning.
My pleasure, my pleasure. I'm glad to be in your midst as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
So how was your journey?
Well, you know, Ghana, I live, unfortunately, I live in an area that is really choked. Wow. When I say choked, I mean traffic, right? Okay. So I'm coming from the Dowenya stretch, from 25 Dowenya stretch to Accra. So you can see that you gave me 9 a.m. So I saw it this morning. I was so glad because I couldn't have made it. If it were 8 a.m., 7 a.m., I couldn't have made it. Yeah. So I mean, I'm glad I'm here, and I hope we have an interesting conversation. Yeah.
I know we will have an interesting conversation. You can also join the conversation from wherever you are on our social media platforms at Ghana Talks Radio, on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok at Ghana Talks Radio. You can also join through our WhatsApp line 0202-544-614. Ask Dr. George. Adibia a mema no mini baby hamu. The boys in the WhatsApp group. I mean, I'm giving you some tips, so they cannot talk plenty. Yo, Doc.
Yeah, Charlie.
Welcome once again.
Thank you.
What are we looking at today?
So today we'll be looking at cholera, right? Cholera. We'll be looking at meningitis at a point, and we'll be looking at some tips with regards to medications, right? Wow. Yes, that's what we'll be discussing.
And with cholera, I mean, we've heard about all the cholera outbreaks recently in some parts of the country.
Yeah, exactly.
In the central region.
Yes.
What exactly is the cause of all these things?
Yes, so let me start from so somewhere last year, 4th October, we had the Ghana Health Service come or giving us a press release with regards to the break out of cholera in somewhere down west, right? And so the story is actually funny because Ghana Health Service says in their communique they mentioned the fact that someone went to funeral, right, in Ada East, and then came back to Ada West, and then was diagnosed of the condition, right? That is so.
He took it from East, brought it to West.
Yes. So we are trying to invariably say that funeral jollof. So we'll get there. So we'll get there. So we'll get there. We'll get to the causes. So
we can't let the Nigerians hear this one.
No.
If they hear that our jollof has given someone cholera, we are dead.
Yes. So now we can say that somewhere Greater Accra region we have some cases, Central region we have some cases, Eastern region we have some cases as well. Yes, and you see when it's spreading like that, it means that it becomes dangerous, because if these 4 major regions have had cases, it means that there's a possibility, especially in Accra, there's a possibility that it can actually take over the whole of the country, right? And so when we talk about cholera, what's cholera? What is cholera? So someone will say cholera.
Yeah.
Let me. So if you are listening and then you don't vibe with the cholera, you can go with the cholera or cholera. All right. So yes. So what is cholera? So cholera is a condition which is it's a bacterial condition actually. So it's caused by a bacteria we call the Vibrio cholerae. Yes, that is what it does. So this bacteria actually goes into your system through various means. I'll discuss a few of them. So it goes into your system and then it attaches to your intestines and then it releases some toxins. When I say toxins, layman term, poisons. Right? Yes, it releases some poisons, and these poisons will make you, defecate a lot. Loose stools, right? So you pass loose stools. That is basically what cholera does. Now let me come to the transmission. How is this bacteria gotten or transmitted? The number one route that you can be infected is water, right? Yes. So it's waterborne transmission. So the water you drink, you have to be very, very careful where or the source of that particular water, because it is one of the main routes through which cholera, gets into the body, that we ingest cholera. So one, the water you drink, if it's poorly treated, right? If it's infected or it's, sewages have their way into the water bodies. You see, so this bacteria has a way of, finding itself into these water bodies, and if you ingest it without treating, right, you can be infected by cholera. That is number one. Number two is the foodborne way, right? Foodborne transmission, where you get the bacteria or you ingest the bacteria from food, right? A contaminated food. So this is a caution to those of us who like to buy the foods outside, Amalia Wache, and then all the gobe joint and all that.
Hey, I know some boys in the WhatsApp group will be happy.
So yes. So when your food, when they are not well taken care of, they are not well cooked, right? There is something I'd have to mention. Is your fruits and vegetables, right? Okay. We talk about the fact that I'm a health person. I talk about the fact that you have to take fruits and vegetables daily or normally, right, or regularly. That is what we advocate for. However, that as well, if the fruits or vegetables are not washed by clean water, right?
So not just in the water, it should be washed with clean water.
Exactly, clean water, not contaminated water. Because when you wash it with contaminated water, invariably you are just introducing the bacteria into yourself again. So you are trying to prevent something, however you are introducing something else, right? So we should be careful where we buy our fruits, and when you buy our fruits as well, make sure that you wash it very well, right? That is very, very important. That is it. Now I've talked about the water, I've talked about food. So the next one is the fecal oral transmission, right? So when I say fecal, that means layman feces, right? And then so one way or the other, feces finding its way into your mouth or into your system. That is basically what I'm saying, right? So you're good. I like how you are saying, how is that possible? So you see, with someone infected by cholera, right? They pass the bacteria through their stools, right? The bacteria can be passed through their stools, so you can find the bacteria through their stools. And so if you are someone who is taking care of someone infected by the bacteria, probably you clean their poops or something, right? You have to wash your hands very well so that you don't mistakenly introduce that into your system. Another thing is when you go to the washroom, right? You go to the washroom and you don't wash your hands after the washroom. You come and eat, right? It's also a way of introducing the fecal matter into your system. Another thing is when when house flies or when flies goes and fly over feces and all that, and then they come and jump on your food, they can introduce the bacteria onto the food, right? And then this is the controversial part. I think yesterday or last 2 days I saw one parliamentarian mentioning the fact that now people are not, so to say, having affairs in the right ways. They want to leak places and they want to leak places and they want to leak places, and it was trending on Twitter, and people were insulting the woman, wabong and blah 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 blah. And I saw a few people tagging me whether it's actually true that can actually happen. Yes, it's true. If you are leaking in a way, or you are in a bid to offer pleasure to your partner, and then you are doing leakings and there are ways that boys to understand. You see, you are doing things.
Please, I want to understand. I didn't really hear it. I want to.
So you see, you are doing things, right? And you are leaking places, right?
You are
doing things.
You are eating from places. Yes.
Are you the one?
In a nutshell, that's what he's saying.
So you see, and I mentioned the fact that the bacteria can pass through feces. I mean, be passed through feces, right? And so you ingest that. The bacteria is going to, I mean, multiply and then cause, I mean, infection, right? So that is also a viable way. We shouldn't overlook that as well. So yes, these are a few ways that I think. And then the next thing is our own hygiene, sanitation, and all that, right? We make sure that the water we drink, the food we eat, we are washing our hands and all that is very, very important. This is the way that these are all viable ways through which the bacteria can get their way into our body.
Do you know that, interestingly, these things are just basic things we can easily do to avoid.
Perfect. It's true.
But we don't really pay attention to these things.
Yes. We joke with it.
Yeah. Oh, that's I used to have this quote. The Bible says that what we eat inside ourselves doesn't kill us. What comes out? Is it? Hey. One time, you really bore me. It's a typhoid.
You see, the same ways through which cholera can be transmitted, similar ways typhoid as well can be transmitted. So there's this thing that I would want to talk about as well. You see the water we drink, the bottled water. If the company that you see, we recycle water bottles and all that, so you see that they go to the refuse dump, pick the bottles and all that. If those bottles are not well washed or well treated, and then we put the water in and and it's infected or it's contaminated, you are sharing, you're basically buying cholera or typhoid even as. Yes. So our water is also very important. Yes, our bottled water is also very, very important. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
That's interesting. So what's the best way we can treat our water for drinking?
Yes, for drinking, there are ways. The one is to get it chlorinated, right? Well chlorinated. Another way is
you say chlorinated.
So
these are terms that
okay. So Ghana Water Company does something that a bit to treat the water. So they add chlorine. Basically, chlorine. It's a compound that you can add to the water that treats it. Another thing you can do is you boil your water. Right, you boil it before you drink.
The water I'm coming to, I should boil
it. Yeah, you boil it. You are trying to kill the bacteria. You boil it, then you drink.
Wow.
Boil it, allow it to settle, then you drink. Invariably, you've killed the bacteria, so you can drink. It's a way of treating the
speaking of chlorine,
the water. Yeah.
I see people put this thing, kafa or camphor. Is it a means of?
No, it's not a means of treating your water. It doesn't help. I think the camphor, one is to probably prevent any form of scent in the water. That is one, and two, to help debris to settle. But that is even not advisable. Really? I think FDA last year, FDA released a communique, released something with regards to that using it in that way is not advisable, because there is the risk. It can increase the risk of getting some cancers as well. So yes, FDA released. I think I shared it on my page. FDA released something like that with regards to the use of naphthalene balls or camphor that we are talking about. Yes, yeah. Yeah, so we have to be careful. This is a caution. It's good you brought it up. This is a caution to the public. Yeah. So we can talk about the signs and symptoms, right? Yeah. Sure. So how do I know that what is happening to me is cholera? Yes. So the funny thing about cholera is that about I saw a statistic somewhere, about 75% of people who contract the disease may be asymptomatic. When I say asymptomatic, may not show some symptoms. May not show symptoms, right? However, the tricky thing or the dangerous thing about that is that they are not showing symptoms, but they can share the disease, or they can spread the disease, or they can transmit. They can also, play a role in transmitting the disease, right? That is the dangerous thing about it. However, those who can I mean, those who see symptoms, these are some of the symptoms, right?
Yeah.
The first thing is loose stools. When I say loose stools, you are defecating and it's watery. That is loose stools. But there is something special about this particular one. It comes like, rice water.
Yeah.
Rice water.
Yeah.
So in cholera, the symptom we look out for is rice water stools. So you see, we have diarrhea presents in different conditions, right? Food poisoning, typhoid, and some other conditions, right? But the thing special about this particular one, which is cholera, is it comes in rice water stools. So your stool will be like rice water. That you will see the
food particles.
No, not food particles. Oh, it will the feces will come watery, and it will form like rice water.
Yeah.
So we call it rice water stools. That is yes.
So once you see that, you know it's a sign of cholera.
You see that you are growing very weak, right? You are growing very weak. Right, you should know that now there is something, and you are that's diarrhea basically. And you see, something about cholera that we have to notice that cholera can kill you within hours.
Within hours?
Really?
Yes.
Is it that dangerous?
Within 24 hours you can die of cholera.
Is it that dangerous?
Very dangerous, especially in kids, pregnant women, elderly people whose immune systems are very weak. Right?
Wow.
It can kill you within hours. So you see, the thing about cholera is that you are losing water. You are losing water. You are losing fluids. You are losing electrolytes, right? And the thing about that is that you can be losing 1 liter. You see 1 liter.
Yeah.
You can be losing 1 liter per hour. 1 liter.
Wow.
You see, this is 500. You see the water. No, this is 500.
Yeah.
So two of this. Two of this is 1 liter, right? So you can be losing this per hour. Wow. You can be losing 1 liter per hour. So you can imagine. So you become severely dehydrated, and so all the problems that cholera brings is drinking water.
Prevention is better than cure.
Is drinking water. So all the problems cholera brings is as a result of the dehydration that it comes with.
Okay.
Right? You are getting dehydrated. Your blood volumes are becoming smaller. Blood is actually water, right? It has, larger part of it is water. And so when you are losing water, you are losing, we call it hypovolemic, right? You are losing, your blood volumes will be reducing as well. And that can cause a whole lot of problems.
Wow.
Blood flow to the kidneys will be reduced. Blood flow to your brain will be reduced. So sometimes you see that people start feeling dizzy and all that, right? Dizziness and all that.
Yeah.
Blood flow to your kidneys will be reduced, and so even that you can see that in severe cases, the person or the individual may not even be able to produce urine, or even if he or she produces urine, it is very scanty, right? And in that case, very small, in small quantities. So when that happens, your kidneys are failing as well. So you see, cholera. So cholera. Leading to severe dehydration, then leading to kidney failure. You see how dangerous the condition is.
That's never crossed.
Yes.
Something that can be.
Yes, that is why when we even see one case, WHO is in a hurry, Ghana Health Service is in a hurry, because when it breaks out like that, it's a very dangerous condition that we shouldn't play with at all. So you'll be very weak. You see, the person will be losing weight as well. You'll be losing weight as well.
This is serious.
Yes, it's a serious condition.
How?
And another thing too is that you can have, you see, when you are losing water, there is something we call electrolytes in the body, right? That goes away with the water. So the sodium that you take, the potassium, the magnesium, the calcium, you see, those stuff are what we call electrolytes. When you are losing water, or you are losing fluids in the body, they go as well with the water, right? The electrolyte, and those electrolytes play vital roles in the cells, right, and in the muscles as well. So you see, especially heart muscles that needs potassium, you are losing a lot of water. The heart muscles would be, devoid of potassium, or will be short of potassium, right? And that can cause problems, arrhythmia and all. You see, so people, you first of all, low blood levels because of the loss of water, so your BPs will drop. That is hypovolemic shock, right? And then aside that as well, there will be rapid heart rate, right? Your heart to be beating rapidly because you are losing water, and then you are losing electrolyte, so it's affecting the heart as well. In that case as well, arrhythmia can happen. Arrhythmia is like how do I explain arrhythmia so that my people understand? So arrhythmia is like the immature beating of the heart. Let me just put it that way.
So it's not supposed to beat, but then it's beating.
No.
Will it be compared to that of a baby's heart?
No, your heart is supposed to beat like to hit like 10 to generate electricity impulse to hit like 10, but it's not able to do that. It's hitting like 4 or 2. You see, so it's not able to do the work right? Or it's supposed to beat, let's say, within a set area. In a particular rhythm. Let's say pa, 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 pa. But because of these distortion, it can beat anyhow. So it's all scattered all over. So these are various forms of arrhythmia. That is what I hope I'm not confusing you guys. Yes. So that is how it is. Wow. So cholera that you see like that, that we mention, cholera. It's a dangerous condition that a lot of attention needs to be paid to it.
A lot of attention is to be paid to cholera.
So before you move on, are there any other symptoms apart from what you mentioned?
Apart from what I mentioned, you can see that in severe cases, you see that the person's skin becomes blue, right? Blue. Yes, we call it cyanosis, right? Cyanosis. Wow. That is in severe cases. It's because the skin is not getting enough blood. Okay. You see, it's not getting enough. You are losing a lot of water, so your skin is not getting enough blood, and so your skin is like you're dying. Your skin becomes blue, sort of. And then muscle weakness, right? I mentioned that. Weight loss. Suddenly you lose weight because you are losing a lot of water. You lose weight suddenly. That is what happens.
So, what are some of the things that we need to do to first of all even prevent ourselves getting in the cholera?
Yes, I'm sure if the listeners by this time you should be able to start mentioning some of them from what I've mentioned so far. So the first one is your water, because water is the number one ways through which cholera is transmitted. So you make sure that the water you are drinking is clean and safe, not contaminated. Right, the food you are eating, make sure that it's from a trusted source, is well cooked.
Because the boys in the WhatsApp group, where they buy their gobe, it's not really about the environment too. We don't even know where the woman brings it from.
Sometimes they also say that there's this perception that the nicer places, their food are not nice. But when watch it, they want.
And before drink,
get it. The posh looking places don't have the delicious meals.
Can you imagine? They want the place that is the stench is there, it's smelling. They add to buying cholera, and we should be very careful. We should be very, very careful. So what can we do? Your water, your food, right? Your bottled water. I mentioned the fact that your bottled water and the companies that produce the bottled waters, please, it's like our lifestyle. We trust some way, somehow we trust the bottled waters over the other. Yes, exactly. So they should be able to make it clean, devoid of all these pathogens. It's very, very necessary. Our lives are in their hands. Sort of. If one water company, right? I don't want to mention any company. If one water company makes a mistake, it will affect a whole lot of people.
All the consumers.
A whole lot of consumers. And so our lives are basically in their hands. They can decide that we want to cause cholera outbreak in this country, and they will make it easy. Right? So we beg them. We beg them wherever they pick their staff from. the bottles, even if it's picked from the boiler and all that, you should make sure it's well treated, well washed, so that we don't have any of these problems. And then one thing, please wash your hands after visiting the loo.
Okay.
It's a cliche thing we've been saying, but it's actually a very important thing. Wash your hands after visiting the loo, so that you don't into some people before we eat, they don't wash their hands with soap.
Yeah.
After the food, then they will. Sometimes I think about what is the what is the rationale behind all those things. So it's very important. Let's and then the last thing is vaccination, right? I think I shared a video with the boss.
MCR, please, if you are listening to
recently we saw the health minister, right? He visited a few of the areas that have been affected with cholera, and then he was there. He was one of their clinics, and he took the vaccine as well. Yes. So yes,
he himself.
Yeah, he took it. Yeah, I think the video is there. I think
the video will be played very soon.
Yes. So we call it the oral cholera vaccine.
Okay.
Yes, it helps you.
Yes.
It helps.
So
Yes,
that's the video.
That's the video. Yeah. That's the video of the health minister.
All right. So this oral, what was the name again?
Oral cholera vaccine. OCV.
So it is something that I could just walk to the pharmacy to buy.
No, not pharmacy.
Okay.
As and now, it's not in the pharmacy.
Okay.
Cholera in itself, nothing of it, because of the kind of condition that it is.
Yeah.
Every cholera case is sent to the hospital.
Okay.
And even in a hospital, there is a place that we put such cases.
To avoid further.
Exactly. Imagine you go to the hospital to go and treat yourself of maybe malaria, and then you come back home with cholera. That's very, very dangerous. So we isolate such people. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a video on your screens as you are watching people getting their vaccinations.
Yeah, Honorable Minta Kando, the health minister.
The health minister.
Wow. Yeah.
So with okay, sorry.
Sorry. So what's the first thing to do once you detect you have cholera?
That is a good question, right? So the first thing you do, I mentioned the fact that the dangerous thing about cholera is the fact that you are losing a lot of water.
Yeah.
So we want to replenish that water and electrolyte as soon as possible before you go to the hospital. Okay. Hospital is a must go. When you have to go to the hospital, when you have to see that you are seeing rice water stools, you are vomiting and all that, rush to the hospital, right? But before then, you can take ORS, oral rehydration solution. Okay. So you can take ORS is made in a form that it gives you some of the electrolytes you are losing. So potassium, chloride, sodium, and all that, right? Yes. So you get ORS. You start the solution preparation in the water bottle. You'll be taking sips while you are going to the hospital.
Wow.
Yes. And then if you can't get access to a pharmacy to buy ORS or anything, you can prepare it at home. It's simple.
How?
Yes, so it's one of the reasons why I'm here.
One of the reasons why Dr. George is here.
Yes. So I made a very simple way that you can do your ORS at home.
That's great.
So you take 1 liter of water, right? 1 liter of clean water. Because
water.
You don't want a situation where
you
don't want a situation where you are using a cholera infected water to prepare ORS for yourself.
to cure your cholera.
Exactly. So you get 1 liter of clean water, right? And then you take half teaspoon of salt, right?
Normal salt.
Normal salt.
Is it the abuabu or the?
Or you can use the salt. You can use the hard one. You can just grind it, make it hard, and then you put it on the half teaspoon, like a 5 ml teaspoon, or you can use the powdered salt as well, right? And then half of that, and then you take 6 teaspoons of sugar.
6 teaspoons
of sugar, yes. And then you mix it. You make sure that it dilutes.
Okay.
Dilutes very well. Get a clean solution, and then you can ingest and you can take. That is as simple as that. Yes, homemade ORS.
Wow. And how effective is that?
It's very effective. It gets you a lot of the electrolytes that you are losing.
Wow.
So table salt is sodium chloride. Okay. So you get your sodium, you get your chloride. Sugar is there, the sugar as well, glucose, right? Okay. Yeah, and then the water is there. 1 liter, you are replenishing your water, you are replenishing your electrolytes.
Wow, I am getting educated in the studios, and I know you are also being educated much more wherever you are listening to us from. Join the conversations. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Ghana Talks Radio. As Dr. George brings us much more of this as we head into the next conversation. Yeah. You can also send us your comments through our WhatsApp number 0202-544-614. Dr. George.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm just curious.
Oh, yeah. I like that. So you can let's talk.
Have there been any herbal medicine to treat or plants?
Wow.
Or maybe fruits or
wow. This area
you really don't expect Dr. George to talk about herbal medicine.
Because back in the day, whenever we are sick, our parents don't even want to go to the
they fix something for you.
Like
there is this leaf that whenever I'm having serious malaria, my malaria is dangerous. One, they'll plug one and do like this.
Just rub it.
See, the scent alone will cure me. It's so bitter, like so bitter. Hey! They call it opesiawa.
Interesting. Interesting. For herbal medicines, as it stands now, WHO. I work with facts. So we can have individuals or herbal doctors come with products that say that this one cures that, this one cures that. But for me, I'm a health professional, so I work with facts. I work with evidence. I work with things approved by the FDA. Right? Okay. So as of now, I have not seen a product approved by the FDA
to treat cholera
that says that it treats cholera.
Okay. Wow.
I have not seen it. Wow. We have guidelines as to how cholera is treated.
Okay.
I don't see herbal medicines inside. Right? So as of now, for now, I have not seen any. Yes, I have not seen
any plants or something.
Oh, there may be plants that we can say that they have activity against the Vibrio cholerae.
Okay.
Right? But you see, it's one thing being active against the Vibrio cholerae, and it's another thing being, getting the go ahead to use it to treat. You see, some plants come in a way that, in the form that they have ingredient A that is active against this bacteria. But aside that ingredient A, they have ingredients B also in that same plant that can hurt the kidneys, that can hurt the liver. Wow. So before we can use that, we have to isolate ingredient
all
A.
These things from it.
So yes.
Normally the drug stores medicine.
You see that is how it is. So if you're able to isolate ingredient A, fine. You send it to the FDA. They go through the process. They test it, see that it's actually active. You are on the market, right? That is how it is.
Okay.
So at home you can say our mothers and all that you gather everything, but it's not so advisable.
Hit on that. It's not advisable. Our mom
it's not advisable. Is it totally? Every other day. Wow, that's interesting. So, any other thing you would want to talk about cholera?
Well, so cholera, yes. So it's a serious case. It can kill you within hours. This one, and I wanted to get into, our listeners. It can kill you within hours. And so, if you notice any form of rice water stool, or you are losing stool frequently, you see it's not normal, you are vomiting, you know that you are not feeling fine, rush to the hospital so that you are taken care of. We don't want a situation where you'll be at home trying to manage it yourself, and then it will become a severe condition. So yes.
That's great. Now on to the next one. What are we looking at?
So the next one is a case of meningitis.
Meningitis.
So we'll not talk too much about it because
giants.
Yeah, many.
It sounds like it's like a woman who wants to break up with you. Meaning giant.
Neil, we coming to ask if you coming your mind is
Interesting.
Oh, are you still with your boyfriend or daughter?
Interesting.
Right.
So yes. So we have a condition called meningitis, and if you are in the country by this time and you follow the news, by this time you should see some things going on in northern part of Ghana, upper west, that region. Yes. So as it stands now, we have about 94 suspected cases of meningitis in the northern part of the country, and then we have about 20 confirmed, and then 14 deaths. Meningitis is not a simple condition. It's a dangerous condition. So yes, that is what is going on in the upper part of the country, right? And meningitis is like how do I put this? So meningitis, when you hear anything itis in medical science, anything itis, most often is the inflammation of that. So I'll explain, don't worry. So so you see, when I say inflammation, it's like inflammation of a part of the body means that place is hurt, right? It's hurt. And then the body is trying to show that it is hurt. You see, that is inflammation. Now, meningitis, we have some part of the brain. So it's like a cover. Meningitis is like a membrane or a cover. It's like a clot that covers the brain, right? And covers the spinal cord as well. So that is the meninges, right? The covering. So meningitis, inflammation of that covering. You see, it's simple. It's not any giddy thing, yeah. So that membrane is protecting the brain and then the spinal cord, right? It's like a clot. So that clot is hurt. It's like that clot has been tempered with, right? And this one, it has various causes, right? Bacteria causes it, virus causes it, fungus as well can cause meningitis. So as it stands now, the most dangerous one is the bacterial one, right? The one that is caused by bacteria, right? Yes, and that one can be transmitted. And that is what we are dealing with in the north as it stands now. So yes, it's highly contagious, and then it can also kill within hours if it's not treated. The good thing is that it can be treated, right? The good thing is that it can be treated. Yes, the viral one is not so common. The viral, but the bacterial one is what is common. So how is it transmitted? How is it transmitted? So this one, it can be transmitted from person to person, right? It can be transmitted from person to person through saliva. Yes. So when I mention saliva, it means that you should be thinking of something.
No, Doc, mention that.
So saliva. So kiss. Those of us who like to kiss a lot. No, but you see. So saliva, cough, droplets of the person coughs or sneezes, the droplets on surfaces and all that. Just like COVID, how COVID. So yes, that is how meningitis can be transmitted. And you see, this condition is a very, very, very dangerous condition. It's a very dangerous condition, and it's happening in the north because of their weather. See, their weather is it's like Hamatan every day for that side. Over there it's like Hamatan every day. So it's easy for the pathogens to be transmitted. You see, their weather, most of the meningitis is not because of their weather. And then that's basically it. And for meningitis, how it presents is it has some 3 cardinal signs that it comes with. It comes with severe headache. Severe headache, and then neck stiffness within days. You see that the person cannot move and the neck is stiff. Yes, it's very, 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 very serious.
I've never heard anything about this meningitis?
Yes, that is why I want to bring it to bear.
To the public notice.
Yeah. So I mentioned headache. I mentioned the neck stiffness, and then there is something we call photophobia. The person becomes sensitive to light.
To light?
Yes, to light.
Okay.
Sensitive to light. And then there is high temperature as well.
So, but wait, before we move to the high temperature, the sensitive to light, as in...
So, light. Yeah. So, you see, the person has severe headache as well. And light. So, the person doesn't want to have anything to do with light.
Okay. Wow.
So, you see, like, the person is not comfortable with light. Yes. It's one of the signs of meningitis.
Wow.
Yes. and when it comes like that, it's obvious. For that, it's kind of obvious when cases like that, you see that this may be a classical sign of meningitis, especially the neck stiffness.
Okay.
Yeah. So the person will complain of headache, and then there is high temperature as well. Then we are thinking about meningitis and all that. Yes.
And then you also spoke about the temperature.
Yeah, I spoke about the temperature as well. High temperature is off the roof. That is how it is. But then there is vaccination for it.
Okay.
Right, there's vaccination. You can get vaccinated. Especially they give it to kids as well.
Okay.
Right, so you prevent some of these conditions from happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with this one, you also need to go to the hospital.
I'm sure by this. Oh no, a hospital. Yes, hospital. Especially if you're in an area that is crowded, it's a slum, in an area that is like the northern part of the country. Those areas, they make the vaccine available for them. I think yesterday, WHO mentioned the fact that they've supplied them about 10,000 vials of vaccine. So yes, so it means that they are taking care of them over there as well. Yeah.
Then it's on the rampant out there.
Yeah, over there it's happening. Yeah, it's happening. So about 14 deaths. That's significant. That's significant.
Apart from the vaccine, is there any other way to prevent it?
Prevention is what I mentioned. So you clean surfaces. Because the droplets. So you clean surfaces. If you are in an area that the case, you are recording cases, it means that you have to withhold your mouth-to-mouth saliva exchanges.
Okay. Very necessary. Where they eat.
So yes. So basically that's it. For meningitis, it's a straightforward thing. So yes, and it can be treated. That is a good thing about it. It can be treated. Can be treated with antibiotics. The antibiotics, if it's bacterial meningitis. For the viral, that one is self-limiting. So at a point when we manage the symptoms, it can be self-limiting. It can go on its own. As well, if the damage is not so severe. Yes. So basically, that is it about meningitis. Yes.
Is it hereditary?
No. It's not. Yeah. It's not.
That's great to know.
Yeah.
Onto our. But then, before we get into the health tip of the day that you have for the audience and me as well, because I really need some health tips. Do you think that as a country we've done much about some of these related health issues?
To be so frank, we have not. We have not. One, the citizens ourselves. We've been careless in a way for some time now.
Okay.
In a sense that now, even this age, people still throw things around anyhow.
Okay.
We throw things into gutters anyhow.
Yeah.
And then flood occurs as a result of that, right? So we are in a way being irresponsible, right? So yes, we are not doing our part, and the policymakers or those in power as well, they also have major role to play. So to say, the Accra right now, as you could see, refuse dams here and there. The city is not so clean, and so in a city like that, or in a city like this, it's easy for cases like cholera to just penetrate. You see, so we've not done so well. That is the truth. We've not done so well.
As a health practitioner, what will you demand of us as a people, and then the political or the people in power?
Yes. So first of all, we should be responsible. If you are a responsible person, you wouldn't go and throw your refuse into gutters. You wouldn't go and throw your refuse into water bodies. And this thing, I think I have to mention it. This case where we see people going to water bodies to go and defecate. That attitude is so, I don't know how to do it. So careless.
But
exactly.
When
exactly.
you speak to these people too, they are more like now say any baby
you see exactly. So such a person, such people, they will keep on sharing some of these conditions like that. So we have to be responsible. That is the first thing.
Okay.
And then now the government or the people who I mean we elect them to take charge, they should also do the work. Right? That is all that there is. They should also do the work. Keep the city clean. Enact laws that punish some of these citizens that are being careless, right? And that is, you see, there is this group, Bus Stop Boys.
Those guys.
You see the work they are doing.
Yes,
they are playing a major role in keeping the city clean. Yes.
Okay.
So we can also adopt some of these things personally. In your area, you do some of these things. It makes you responsible, and it helps us to also. If everybody is doing this in their own small way,
it will help.
It will help. It will help. Yeah.
Back then, we used to have some of these community activities.
Now everybody's a big boy. Everybody's a big boy. Everybody's a big man. You can't tell me to see. That's the thing.
So, with regards to those defecating in our water bodies and go, do you think the government or our health sectors haven't created enough education or awareness to these people?
These people, they know. I know they know what they are doing is wrong, but because it has become a part of them, they can't just stop doing it. Because of course you know that place is not a place to go and defecate. So I mean, you know that this is not it, but they will do it regardless because it has become part of them. I see. So if we start punishing some of these people, pick some 10 of them, make examples of them. Make examples of them.
I believe in a mile. You find a short bench. I mean, you just place back on it with some chai.
You see, make examples of them. They will stop. I mean, it will reduce. Some people, you can give them another modern place to washroom and all that.
And they will still
but they'll tell you that no, they say in Famana that's so you see, it's attitude now, and it's something that they have become so used to that they don't want to stop. But it has to stop. If we really want to keep this country clean, and we really want to stop some of these conditions from penetrating to our terrain, we have to stop.
We need to stop. You just need to stay clean and healthy for your own good. Dr. George, give us the health tip of the day. So the health tip of the day, if you can let your manager put the labels. So you see, you go to the pharmacy, and then we tell you, the pharmacist tells you, or the worker desk tells you to take your medication. Let's say paracetamol, right? They tell you to take it once daily. When they say once daily, what do they mean? A lot of people, some of us take the drug, because it's once daily, they wake up to this morning, they take it. Tomorrow they forget to take it in the morning, so they go and take it somewhere 2 p.m. Then the next day they go and take it somewhere 6 p.m. So when they say once daily, I would want us to see the once daily one. So once daily. So I work in Top Up Pharmacy anyway. So Top Up Pharmacy. That's this is how we label our drugs for our clients. Exactly. So this is 4 times daily. This one is 4 times daily. You are going to take the drug 4 times daily. It means that you have to take it 6 hourly. So every 6 hours, right? So you don't decide to take 6 a.m. Then the next one is because it says I'm going to have somewhere to go. So 6 a.m. Then you take the next one 8. Then you come and take the next one 11. Then no. It has to be 6 hourly, right? Yes. So 6, 12, 6, 12. The last dose especially for these 6 hourly cases,
case like clindamycin, a case like flucloxacillin and all that.
Yeah.
I'm mentioning the drugs. I mean some of the drugs that we take 4 times a day. In cases like that, the last dose, which is 12 a.m., it is allowed, right, to take it somewhere 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. before you sleep, right? Because some people cannot wake up at 12 a.m., right? So it's allowed to take it somewhere 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. It's allowed. That's 6 hourly. What is displaying on the screen is swallow 1 tablet same time daily with or without food for 30 days. So this one is the daily one. If you take it once every day, we want you to take it at the same time or around the same time every day.
Okay.
You see, so you can decide that every 8 a.m. I'm taking my drug. Every 6 a.m. I'm taking my drug. Right? If you want to do it in the evening, or if the drug is supposed to be taken in the evening, every 10 p.m. I'm taking my drug. You don't do it 10 p.m. then you do the next one 6 p.m. then you do the one. No, it's not advisable, right? So that is how it's supposed to be. Please, let's go to the next one so that I show you the. So there's if we tell you to take the drug twice a day, we are tell you that take it 12 hourly. So every 12 hours, right? So you can decide to do it 6 a.m. The next one will be 6 p.m. right? You can decide to do it 7 a.m. The next one will be 7 p.m. You see, that is how, if you want the drug to work for you, exactly. So it's something like this. So to swallow 1 tablet twice daily, 30 minutes before food. This is Nexium, esomeprazole, right? So we are trying to tell you take it 12 hourly. Every 12 hours. So you don't do, because it's 2 times a day, you come and do 6 a.m. then the next one is 10 a.m. No, we don't do that. It's not advisable. The drug will not be effective for you. Sometimes if you do it like that, you may even get toxic levels of the drug, or you may even overdose, right? So we want you to be that time interval. There's a reason why it has to be twice daily. Yeah. And then 3 times a day. When we say 3 times a day, we are trying to talk about the fact that you should take it every 8 hours. Okay, so you see on the screen. So every 8 hours. So swallow 1 capsule 3 times daily. That is 8 hours with food for 7 days, right? So every 8 hours. That is what we mean. You don't decide to take it anyhow. If you want the drug to work for you, to be very effective for you, every 8 hours. That is how it's supposed to be done. So yeah, we've covered daily, we've covered twice a day, we've covered 3 times daily, we've covered 4 times a day. Yeah, so that is what I'm leaving with you guys.
So yeah, that is what Dr. George is leaving with us on the health tip for the day.
Yes,
we will be coming your way same time next week with your health matters on Ghana Talks Radio, with your favorite health influencer, Dr. George Anagili.
Yeah,
doctor.
Yeah, so my last words, So yes, I work with Top Up Pharmacy. Yes, I work with Top Up Pharmacy. We have a branch around, so we have branches all over the country. Yes, so we have Osu, Dabraka, Tema. We have a lot of 4 Committee 2. We have branches around. So if you want any medications, you can we are active on all social media platforms.
All social media platforms. Yes. So you can just DM us there.
Okay. And just make a request. We give free counseling.
Wow.
Myself included. If you want to, reach out. My DM is open.
If you want to reach out with Dr. George, you can even put your number.
When you go to my Twitter page, my number is there on my bio. Okay. Right? You can log. DM Top Up Pharmacy, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. We reply. We give you free health counseling. Wow. If you have prescriptions you want to fill, you can send it over. We'll fill it for you. We do deliveries as well.
Freely?
Yeah, we do deliveries as well.
Oh, for the delivery?
No, delivery is not free. But no. You see, there are some distances that are free. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So me, I work in Community 9, Top Up Pharmacy. So anywhere around Community 9, let's say Tama General Hospital, is free.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So that is how we actually think about the clients first. That is how we move. Yes.
Big ups to Top Up Pharmacy.
Yes.
What time do you open?
24 hours.
24 hours.
Yes.
Wow.
24 hours. So we are active 24 hours.
Active 24 hours.
Yes.
This is where we leave you on the show today on Ghana Talk Breakfast Show. This has been such an insightful, delightful, educative segment on the first edition of the Ghana Talks Health Matters. We'll be coming your way same time next week. Make a time with us as Dr. George comes with some other issue related medically education. Weekend we Madam for be and why are wedding? It's a man for 40 was why I am a fit. Now, before I leave you, I have a message for one very beautiful lady who is celebrating her birthday tomorrow. Your name is Genia Apia. Did I get the name right? Yes, I did. Genia Apia. I didn't do. And also, just a little more fair. So yes, Genia Apia, tomorrow is your birthday. Genia Apia, tomorrow is your birthday, and you are in Asaman Kese. Happy birthday to you, and we wish you all the great things that life has to offer, and a beautiful lady such as you. And this is coming from Mr. The Big Steven.
Okay.
So Genia, happy birthday to you.
Yeah. I think I also have a birthday.
Go ahead. Is it for a lady or a man?
It's for a man.
We have closed.
He's my very good friend.
We are the show is
and my boss.
We are done with the show.
Hope Kaleji. Yes, Wesley. Happy birthday to you. God bless you abundantly. Enjoy your day. Enjoy it to the fullest. Happy birthday, Wesley. Thanks for being an amazing friend. Don't be jealous of married. Don't.
Amazing.
He's harmless.
So Wesley, wherever you are, we wish you a happy birthday as well. Enjoy your weekend wherever you are listening to us from. Have fun. Drink enough water, as Dr. George will say. Don't eat at night, even though I ate at 1 a.m. today. Happy weekend. Thank you, Friday. Enjoy yourself. Bye-bye.